Have you been to a hotel? Like, this is how they work. This is how they work. They have about 100 people staying there, okay? And they put one 19-year-old in charge of the whole operation. That kid is 19, okay? If he gets a phone call from his buddy during his shift, and his buddy says, hey, I met these two girls and they have some beers, he will quit right there. He will leave. Sometimes I'll get to a hotel late, like, I don't know, 10 o'clock, and I'll walk in, there's nobody there. There's nobody. Nobody at the front desk, no sign of anybody. It's like Walgreens at night, but it's more concerning because I plan on being unconscious in this establishment. One time I came downstairs, and I go to the front desk. I'm like, hey, there's something wrong in my room. Can I talk to the manager? Sir, the manager does not work at night. Really? Because you guys are sort of in the business of night. Like, that is why you exist, primarily for the night. People come here for night stuff. You are a night business. Hotels and lighthouses. It's night. It's night. They're night places, okay? I have an email that says I booked a 3-night stay. Night. No, I'm not saying good night. I'm not saying night. I'm emphasizing the word night. But night. Anyways, they don't have employees at hotels. They don't have managers. Here's what they have: surveys. Okay. If you stay at a hotel, you're gonna get an email a day later with a survey, and these survey questions, they're very pointed. It's not, how did you like the Holiday Inn? It's, when you checked in, were you greeted by the front desk? Did they offer you? Just ask me what you want to ask me. Should we fire Carol? I see what's going on here. You guys don't have any managers on staff, so you want me to be a tattletale. You want me to tell on Carol, and I'm not a rat. I'm not going to rat Carol out, okay? I'm not going to do it. I don't even leave bad Yelp reviews. You know why? I'm a comedian, and sometimes I have bad shows, and I would prefer that you guys shut up about it, okay? Like, it's just, we don't need to tell everybody anything, all right? And the surveys are arrogant with your time. I mean, it starts off pretty simple. They trick you. It's like, hey, rate us 1 to 10. I can do that. For the essay portion of the survey, you will have 55 minutes to complete. Wait a minute. I've been staying in hotels for a while. I don't know, long time, and I've been filling out surveys for a long time, and I don't notice any improvement. I don't know if they're reading these surveys. Like, here is my theory on customer service surveys. They do not exist to improve customer service. They have them so they can figure out how bad can we make customer service before we start losing money. Like, it's just, they are trying to hone in, they're zeroing in, they're dialing in on that sweet spot. Like, boss, the survey results are in. It says our customer service is horrible. Okay, what are sales like? They're up slightly. I want you to make customer service worse. I want you to go down to 1 employee. We already have 1 employee. Make them stupid. I want you to make them very stupid.
So I travel, I'm alone a lot. I go to different cities and I just kill time. I just walk. And so I'm walking down the street. I was just in Atlanta last week, walking down the street, lonely. And all of a sudden I look up in a store window and there's a woman, and she looks into my eyes and she just starts waving. And I'm looking at her like, and I start waving back. And I'm walking towards her, and she's waving, and I'm waving, and I get closer, and I see that she has a rag in her hand, and she's cleaning the window. And I was so depressed, I just went and I bought some ice cream, and I wiped it all over that window.
I'll tell you the story. There's a gas station near my house, has a little handwritten sign. On one of the pumps it says, please, replace nozzle to pump before driving away with it. Thanks! And like years ago, I took a photograph of this and I posted it to Instagram, and me and a bunch of strangers made fun of all these human trash piles who were just driving away with the pump still in their goddamn car. And so when I drove away with the pump in my car about a year ago, I was bashful. Have you ever made fun of yourself from the past with a bunch of strangers? Because I have. And the thing is, I didn't even know I did it. I had no idea. Yeah, I hopped in the car, blasted my meditation app, and just took off, ripped it right out of the pump, had no idea, and then immediately pulled an illegal 4-lane U-turn. And all of the oncoming traffic was like, bah, 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 bah. And I was like, oh, you fucking church Nancy's. It's a U-turn. So I gave him all the middle finger. Meanwhile, spewing gasoline across the street. And then I made a right, and I got on like a big highway, started going very fast. And mind you, I just have a tail, like dragging behind me, like. And then this big white pickup truck pulls up next to me, and he's honking at me, and I was like, what? It's a U-turn! And he's like, roll your window down. And I was like, what? And he's like, you drove away with the pump in your car. And I was like, oh, you drove away with the pump in your... Oh, no! So I did. So I did. And then I was very, very, very embarrassed. And I'm on the highway. I didn't know what to do. So then I just like pulled over to the side of the road, and then he pulled over too. And then like I got out of my car, and then he got out of his car too. I was like deeply embarrassed. You know, it's essentially like my pants, and then he like followed me into the bathroom like, hey man, did you shit your pants? Hey, how much shit is in your pants? Hey, why do you think you shit your pants earlier? And I was just like, what do you want? And he's like, do you need help? And I realized, like, I had a choice to make here, you know? I could act the way men have acted for centuries. I could act like a wounded animal and lash out at this man to protect myself. Or I could be a better man. I could admit my vulnerabilities and say, yes, I screwed up and I do need help. And so that man said, hey, can I help you? And I said to him, no! And then he got mad and got in his car and drove away. And then I was left alone with my shame. And I like walked over to the back of my car. I pulled out the gas pump and I was like, oh, there's definitely still a lot of gas in here, you know? It's like I can't put it in my car. Is it fumes and stuff? I'm picking up my daughter. What would be very useful right now is a pickup truck, but I just told that guy to go f*** himself. So then I just left my car on the side of the road and then walked with it in my arms all the way back along the highway, down the exit ramp, back to the gas station, where both managers were waiting for me outside. And I just kind of laid it at their feet like a big dead snake. And I was like, well, what do we do now? Turns out it costs $350, which is honestly a lot less than I expected. I mean, you don't get to keep it, but also they're like designed to just pop right off. So the thing is like, just do it. It doesn't matter. Just do it. Also, if you turn it into a comedy bit, it kind of pays for itself.
I got married 2 years ago. But we didn't go on our honeymoon until last year. Yeah. We went to Italy. Yeah. Boy, they are Italian over there. You think you're prepared for it, because like it's Italy, and then you're sitting at a cafe in Rome and the server comes over and he's like, okay, so first of all, we know do spaghetti. And you're sitting there like, oh my God. The racist didn't go far enough this time. We were in Naples. We went to Naples, and in Naples, I saw 3 people riding one Vespa. 2 of them were smoking unfiltered cigarettes, and the third was holding an open bottle of red wine. It was a toddler. It was a toddler holding the wine. In Naples, they use toddlers as cup holders for wine. We went to the Vatican on our trip, which, as a Jew, does feel like a secret mission. I felt like if I made it all the way through without getting detected, I should get to kiss the Pope. And I just like, mwah, you didn't find me. He'd probably be cool with it, right? This Pope, isn't it still like the cool Pope right now? Isn't it still? Yeah, the Pope was just like that's his energy. He's like, hey, call me Rick, how are ya? Yeah, like, you know, he doesn't do the big hat, he does a little Catholic yarmulke, that's his energy, right? Kirkland signature robes, that's the Pope. You know who I feel bad for is the next Pope. Because he didn't sign up for all this humble stuff. Right? If he ever wants to go back to full Pope hat strength, he's gonna have to do it gradually. Or people are gonna talk. He's gonna have to, every week, wear a slightly bigger hat. He's gonna be in meetings at the Vatican like, okay, so first order of business is, and one of the cardinals is gonna be like, Your Holiness, is that a bigger hat? No. It's a different hat.
Everything's expensive in New York. I went to buy new glasses, eyeglasses, went to a boutique place. I go, how much are these glasses? The guy said they're $1,000. I was like, oh, that's kind of expensive. He's like, well, think of it this way. You'll have them for 3 years. It's like $1 a day. Well, when you put it that way, it sounds more expensive. If I asked you how much these glasses were, and you said you have to give me $1 a day every day for 3 years, I'd be like, wow, that is a pricey pair of glasses. I'm doing the math in my head. I'd say that's roughly $1,000. Why don't I take $1,000, buy 2 pairs of $200 glasses, and also a round-trip ticket to Barcelona? No, I'm glad we're traveling again. A few years ago, I went to Bangkok. Almost didn't go. Saw a video on YouTube called The Scams of Bangkok. This dude was a little paranoid. He's like, if you go to a museum and you see someone smiling, total scam. If you go to a restaurant, they have noodles on the menu, your identity's just been stolen. If you show up at your hotel, there's a front desk, call Interpol. Classic flim-flam. Can't believe I've barely done any crowd work. What do you think? How's it going? What's your name? What do you do, Chris? Design engineer. Holy shit. I don't think I want to do crowd work tonight. Design engineer? What does that mean?
I design recessed lights, track lights.
Okay, all right. I'm in the business, I get this. I was just looking at how great these recessed lights are tonight. It was good talking to you, Chris. We just took a recess from being funny for a while. Yeah. Holy. Pulled that one out, huh?
I like paying attention to ads. I don't have a lot of ads at home on TV, but when I'm on the road and I go into a hotel, I'm like, yes, now I get to check in with TV the way America watches it, with ads. You watch cable TV like in a hotel room now, half the country still watches TV that way. And it's just, all it is just commercial advertisements and hurricanes. That's all cable is now. You go into a hotel and they're like, oh, you want a room? We got televisions in all of them. Old-fashioned, hand-cranked, rotary-operated television. It runs on commercials. Come on, Jenny, turn it on. All you gotta do is pump in a commercial sponsor and she'll shoot out a motion picture. Just like a Nickelodeon machine. You see these ads on TV and you realize they've been doing some of the same campaigns for decades. Like, you'll see some ad campaign, you're like, I remember that. Like an old soap opera where you re-encounter it and you're like, that's still on the air? Tom Selleck is still doing the reverse mortgage commercials. It's been 20 years. He's on every network an old person could possibly tune into, even accidentally. There's Tom saying, hey folks, it's me, Tom Selleck. It's not my first time at a rodeo. I'm following you from channel to channel, yeah. It's me, Tom Selleck. Believe it or not, the mustache has a harder time breathing than the man does. Now, they no longer bother to tell you that getting a reverse mortgage is a good idea. That's not part of the pitch in the commercials. Now it's just Tom Selleck defending himself for being in the commercial as he's doing it. Hey folks, it's me, Tom Selleck. Some people have said it's somehow unethical for me to be in these reverse mortgage commercials that I'm doing right now. That's right. You should feel comfortable. You're in a referendum right now. You're on a referendum of whether I, Tom Selleck, am an honorable man. And let me ask you, you're gonna look me in the eye to wandering eye, Tom Selleck, and you're gonna tell me I'm trying to take money out of the pockets of America's seniors? An old lady walks by behind him. He can't help himself. He's like, give me your purse,
It's also nice to be traveling more, but I realize I do not know how to travel like a normal person. I was going through TSA, and the TSA lady was checking the waistband of my jeans, and she had her hands in the waistband of my jeans, and I thought that was a good time to tell her that I liked the way her perfume smelled. Not a good time. One thing that happened, there was a teenage girl in line ahead of me at security, and they stopped her to search her backpack because something went off in the machine. And so the TSA guy, he searched around it and he pulled out the thing that went off, and it was a magic 8-ball. This is totally true. And he told her, he was like, well, technically this is a blunt object and it could be used as a weapon, so I'm not sure if you can bring it in your carry-on, and I need to go get my supervisor. So they brought over like 2 or 3 more TSA agents. They were all looking at this magic 8-ball, trying to decide what to do. And I was in line behind her, losing my mind, because I was like, just ask the magic 8-ball. You guys are fun. I've been around a lot of comedy audiences, not just for stand-up. I was a waitress in a comedy club for a really long time. And you guys might think, just based on the media and what you've seen about the world we live in, you might think that the worst hecklers are middle-aged straight men. But I can tell you for a fact that is not true. The worst hecklers by far are female teachers on a night out. They all order Chardonnay and they get mouthy. That's what they do. And every now and again, I'll be saying this, and there'll be a woman in the back, and she'll yell out, she'll be like, I'm a teacher and I'm drinking whiskey. I'm like, well, then you are a middle school teacher. That's how we know what you're drinking. Are you guys drinking? Are people drinking? Yeah? Do you guys know that drink White Claw? You familiar? White Claw, yeah, it's named after the kinds of hands that hold it. Do you guys? What pisses me off about White Claw is it's trendy now for alcohol to be healthy. Like it's not bad for you. It's a seltzer. There are all these hard seltzers, and they've got vodka with electrolytes in it now, and everyone's on board, and no one was on board when I was in college, and I offered them my homemade sangria, which was just red wine mixed with emergency. And I could get on Shark Tank with that now. I would like to be on Shark Tank. It'd be nice to make a little extra money. I'm a very broke person. Very broke. I go to Coinstar a lot. Are you guys familiar? Yeah. Do you guys think that this would be a good slogan for Coinstar? Coinstar, be poor loudly. Thank you for applauding Coinstar. It's the only applause Coinstar's ever received, so.
I might be a lady, but I am a very tall lady. Sometimes I feel a little out of place, but I like it now as an adult. It's great. When I was little, though, I hated it, you know? Does any tall women in here know when you're a tall girl, people only give you 2 options in life, right? It's either playing sports or modeling. So when everyone's like, you should play basketball. You're like, yeah, or... And then they're like, or volleyball? Yeah. You got big hands, kid, you'd be great. Yeah, they weren't wrong, I was pretty good. Yeah. Yeah, I was this size in middle school, that is terrifying. I will say this, though, it is nice to be able to share clothes with your mom, right? Double your wardrobe. But a little awkward when you're in 5th grade, you know? Yeah, you get a lot of compliments from your teachers on that. They'd be like, Erica, love that pencil skirt. I'd be like, yeah, thanks. It's from Ann Taylor Loft. It's my mom's favorite. Yeah. She loves it. My mom is actually not tall. She's 5'4". I get my height from my dad. He's a tall dude, 6'5". Yeah. Yeah, but here's the problem. My dad wants me to be with a tall guy like him, but he's also Italian, so he wants me to date a tall Italian man. And I'm 32, so you gotta pick one, you know? We're not gonna get both at this age. And every tall Italian I've ever met was related to us, so... I was like, call cousin Sergio. Let him know I'm available. You know? I do like being single, by the way. I do like it, but I finally feel ready for a real relationship. But it's just because I'm tired of getting dating advice from people. Yeah. You ever get that advice you never asked for? Anybody get that? Just thrown in your face every day? My favorite is someone said this to me. They were like, hey, listen, all right? It's going to happen for you when you stop looking for it. It's like, okay, I don't think you know my version of not looking, all right? I won't leave my apartment. So by your method, I'm like, is he going to break in? Just like, girl, if he wants you, he'll rob you. Okay. Men like the chase, all right? You should lock the door, make it hard for them. They love a challenge, you know? The only good news is now when I hear a noise in the middle of the night, I do get excited, you know? Yeah. I used to be terrified. Now I'm like, maybe I should check it out. Maybe he's cute. I should go see what's going on, you know? I should just say hey, introduce myself, you know. You never know. Someone else told me I should date older. You ever get that advice? They're like, you gotta go older, all right? Older guys are more mature, more likely to want to settle down. And yeah, they're not more mature. That's a lie. They're just tired, you know? That's it. Yeah, they're just at the perfect age where they just want to sit down, you know? Like, you just get a lazy boy in your apartment, you could trap one pretty easily. You just need one of those and Paramount Plus, I think. I heard they like Yellowstone. They love Kevin Costner. That's their guy. That's their favorite. I will say this, though. I don't mind dating older because I do think there are perks, okay? Like, you don't have to worry about them cheating on you, right? Because you could just read their phone from across the room. So, good luck. You know, you could try, but I'll read that before you hit send. So. And I like, personally, that they're more old school, okay? Because, like, I don't know if you know this. I'm a monogamous person, and turns out that's not cool anymore. Yeah, have you heard this term, ethically non-monogamous? You guys familiar with that? Clap if you heard that. A few people. Are those the single people in the room? Probably. Yeah, if you haven't heard this term, it's not really anything new. It's just a rebrand of being polyamorous, or European, I think. Something like that. That's the scale of it. And I have a lot of friends, they've been in closed relationships for years, okay? And now they're opening it up to other people, which, hey, if that's what you want to do it, okay? If that's what makes you happy, I'm happy for you, truly. But I am tired of hearing about it. Because I don't think my friends realize they're just bragging to me. Because this is the pitch they give me every time. They're always like, Erica, monogamy just doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense, okay? First of all, it's not natural, all right? Haven't you ever just been in love with two people at the same time? Yeah, and neither of them liked me. So, thank you for the reminder, yeah. There's two parts to the equation. I'm glad you guys don't think I'm judging them, by the way, because I don't. There's been times I've thought about it. I'm like, maybe they know something I don't, you know? Maybe the key to having an amazing partner is you just get 3 of them instead. You know, you got to diversify the portfolio, or whatever they say, you know? But mainly, I honestly think it might just be a millennial thing, where we're all looking around like, all right, well, between the 4 of us, we could afford a house. If we all chip in, I think we could do it, you know? And one guy keeps being like, I mean, hear me out. If we added in another woman, we could probably get granite countertops. I'd be like, screw it, I'm in. Add her in. I'll figure that out for granite. I will. Could add one more to the team. That being said, though, I think I'm one of the few millennials that isn't, like, worried about buying property, you know? All my friends talk about that all the time. They're like, am I ever gonna afford a house? And here's the thing, I have been promoted at every job I've ever had. So I was like, I'm gonna get a house. But I've never been promoted to girlfriend. So I'm like, I'll own that house, but I don't know how you get someone to live in it with you forever. That seems impossible to me, you know? And think about it, there's like a clear step process to buying a house, right? We've mapped it out for you. There's no clear step process to like finding your person, you know? You want a house, first of all, start saving some money, okay? You save up your money, you go to the bank, you get approved for a mortgage, and that gives you your price range. So then you go shopping in your price range, and when you finally find a house and you win the bid, you ask your parents for the rest of the down payment. It's not hard. You guys should stop complaining. It's not that difficult.
Like I said, I'm married. My wife is great. My wife rules. She's patient with me. She's the weirdest person I've ever met. My wife is so bizarre. Like, my wife says things once a day that out loud I'm like, what the f*** are you talking about? I think my favorite example of this was about 5 years ago. My wife and I, we were in a rental car in Wyoming. Jealous? We were in a Buick Enclave in Wyoming, listening to satellite radio. We were listening to a station called Lithium. Okay, a couple nods. Lithium is a station that only plays 90s alt rock. Okay, yeah, so of course, at some point, a song by the band Bush came on the radio. This guy nods, yeah. I like seeing Bush fans in crowds because they are kind of smug about it. Like, I can tell just from your demeanor that you're like, just to yourself, you're just thinking like, I bet it was Glycerine. The song he was listening to, I bet it was Glycerine. Yeah, so we're listening to Glycerine. Halfway through the song Glycerine, my wife turns to me and she's ecstatic. She's so excited. And I'm like, what's up? And she goes, Joe, did you know the day I went to my first Bush concert was also the day I tried mayonnaise for the first time? And I was driving, and obviously in my head, I was like, how could I possibly know that, you know? But out loud, I was like, that's incredible. Tell me everything. My wife proceeds to tell me truly the longest story I've ever heard in my life about when she was 12 years old. She and all her friends, they were huge fans of this band Bush, and they bought tickets to this big Bush concert, Big Bush, and when the day arrived, they were so excited, they all jumped into her friend's mom's minivan, and her friend's mom drove them to the arena for this concert, but they got there hours early. Like, the gates weren't even open yet. So her friend's mom parked the van outside the arena, and as they waited, her friend's mom opened up a Tupperware container on the passenger side seat and started handing all the girls in the van sandwiches, pre-made sandwiches, because the mom knew she needed fuel. They needed fuel for this big Bush concert. So my wife takes a sandwich, and we should be clear, at this point in time, she is not my wife, okay? She's just a 12-year-old Bush fanatic in Connecticut. She takes the sandwich, and she bites down on the sandwich, and immediately she realizes that this sandwich in particular is much more moist than any other sandwich she's ever eaten up until that point in her life. But she doesn't want to be rude, so she swallows this weird, wet sandwich. And as she swallows, she has to admit that whatever this wetness is has a sort of pleasant, unctuous taste. She recognizes that. She's finished swallowing. She kind of panics. She looks at her friend's mom and she screams, "What's the wetness? What's the wetness in the sandwich?" And her friend's mom obviously was like, "What the f are you talking about? What's the wetness?" And the friend's mom was like, "That's mayonnaise. Have you never had mayonnaise?" And my wife was like, "No, what? That's mayonnaise? Oh no, am I someone who likes mayonnaise? I think I like mayonnaise." So yeah, that's the short version of her story. So her story ends, and I don't know how to respond, and that's a problem, right? I can tell she's waiting for me to say something in response, but I'm not doing it right. So there's just this tension building in the Buick Enclave we're in. And after like 20 seconds or so, she gets annoyed, and she snaps at me, and she goes, hello, Joe? What was the day you first tried mayonnaise?" Expecting me to have like an equally powerful story. You know that touchstone moment in all our lives where we vividly remember eating mayonnaise for the first time?
Cajuns, we are not a proud people. I went online. I wanted to see who was the most famous Cajun person. Found the answer. Ellen DeGeneres. Ellen DeGeneres is Cajun, and you didn't know that because she doesn't mention it. She is out of the closet, but still stuck in the spice rack. That is the stigma of my people. And Cajuns, if you aren't familiar, we're a race of drunk rednecks from Louisiana who are both bilingual and illiterate. They speak French. Cajuns speak French. My dad spoke it, his parents spoke it, and I took 4 years of French, so I'm not fluent, but if you write something in French, I can look at it and be like, "Hey, that's French? Look at that, wow." People ask, "Do you speak French?" I'm like, "Un poquito, yes. Es muy cilantro." And people say French is a dying language. I say, not fast enough. Here's my beef with French, my boeuf, if you will, and I won't. The words are longer than they sound like they need to be. Every French word, it's just a gangbang of letters. There's like 12 of them, but only 3 are actually doing something. The other 9 are just hanging around like, "Hey, I'm just excited to be here." Remember the first time you saw hors d'oeuvres on paper? You're just like, "Is that horse divorce? What is that? Is this my Gmail password or?" You couldn't have French Wheel of Fortune. That wouldn't work. They're like, "Okay, it's a 7-letter word." You're like, "Yeah, I'd like an A." "Yeah, there's 19 A's." "What?" "Okay." What about an X? Yeah, there's an X at the end doing nothing. Just soaking up unemployment. Like, huh. What about an apostrophe? What about buddy, we got apostrophes. They're like underneath letters. There's a C with a goatee. We don't know what that's for. Best example of the inefficiency of French phonetics. Their word for water is O, which is spelled E-A-U, which looks like it sounds like Sylvester Stallone lost for words. Like, that's the sound you make when you forgot the name of the person you're singing happy birthday to. Like, happy birthday to... Happy birthday... But this word is pronounced O, and it's spelled with 3 different vowels, none of which are O. Do vowels unionize in France? The reason I get so worked up about this is because I had to study Hebrew for my bar mitzvah, and what makes Hebrew very difficult is there are no vowels in the Hebrew alphabet. No vowels. If you ever wanted proof of how cost efficient the Jews are, at some point in our history, someone asked, would you like to buy a vowel? And we were like, oh. I think we're good. I think we're all right, yeah. No guac on this burrito. Thank you very much. Or we had vowels at some point, and we just sold them wholesale to the French in the great vowel movement. My dad wasn't very proud of his heritage. He had like the Bobby Boucher accent as a kid, like real thick. And he wanted to become a chemist. And he got rid of his accent because he thought it would make him sound stupid. I wish he had kept it. I've never met an openly Cajun scientist. And I would pay to see just some guy bumbling around in a seersucker lab coat, just like, ooh, that's a spicy electron. That's you know, DNA analysis tells us a crawfish just a lobster whose mama also his cousin. Like, is that true? He's like, and he spits in a beaker and pew, Zatarans. You know?
Any Chinese people in the crowd? Any Chinese? 中国人吗？你们是中国人吗？你是中国人吗？
I'm from Australia, mate.
Oh, you're from Australia. Okay. 我说中文你会听得懂吗？
一点点。
一点点，哇，挺好。那我跟你说中文，你就跟我说中文，没关系。你父母是哪里的？
中国人。
哦，中国人，中国哪里？
上海。
哦，上海，哇，挺好，哇。
谢谢。
Don't worry, they get uncomfortable. The crowd get uncomfortable because I'm prepared for the future and they are not, so it's difficult. Also, can you please verify that I was actually speaking Chinese? Because I know some people are like, oh my God, I saw the most racist thing yesterday. This white guy was on stage, he was like, any Chinese people? And then he chung-chung-ching this guy at the second table. I was like, cancel this guy already. Like, oh my God. Cancel him, seriously.
I gotta work on saying things to people out loud. Yeah, I got a problem. I just say what I see. I think I'm autistic, but just like the bad parts of it. You know? Like I can't compute numbers or remember dates, but I'll make you feel weird. Right? Like you drop a bunch of toothpicks, I can't count them, but I'll give you a hug. I'm working on it, trying to get better. Flew here from New York. Man, I hate flying. You know, they let you pick your seat on a plane. I think I'd rather pick the person I'm sitting next to. I don't really give a where I am on the plane. It's like a 5-hour relationship. Make it more like a dating app. Obese Nazi with a service dog? Swipe left. Tiny Asian lady with a surgical mask? That's my gal. Yes, she is not a talker, right? But just like a dating app, she shows up with a baby. I'm like, I got catfished. Hate the small talk. 2 things I can't do, small talk and eye contact. How sad is that, you know? I basically have all the traits of a serial killer, just without the ambition. I'm working on it. People always say, Mark, gotta be more confident. They say, Mark, gotta be yourself. I'm like, well, you gotta pick one. I can't do both of those. Like, a lot of people are scared of skydiving. I'm more scared of the banter on the plane than I am jumping out of it, you know? You sit in the plane, it's all windy, you're strapped in. Some guy's like, so, Mark, where are you from? Just like... It's like, we're supposed to go together. I got it. At least with skydiving, you get an instructor. What about stuff I'm bad at, stuff I'm nervous about, like a dinner party? You know how many dinner parties I've screwed up? Set me up with a pro. Right? I just show up, some guy's like, all right, I'll take care of him. I'm like, ah, beautiful. He's giving me tips. Don't say the N-word. Got it. All right. She's not pregnant. Don't ask. Thank God you're here. Some guy at the party's like, so who's your favorite comic? I'm like, Bill Cosby. He's like, pull the chute. I'm working on it. I had a chatty Uber driver last week. That's the worst, huh? This guy wouldn't shut up. I forgot that the no small talk option on the app, so I had to get creative. I had to scare the guy into being quiet. He's like, how about this traffic, huh? What do you think's causing this? I'm like, probably the Jews. He's like... I'm like, all right, I give this ride 5 stars of David.
My dad was a racing car driver. That's what he wanted to be. That's why his nerves are shot, because he tried to do that. My brother, that's how my brother got into motorsport. My brother, Will, is an IndyCar driver over in America. He actually just won the world championship for IndyCar. How crazy is that? Yeah. Sure. Yeah. He drove so fast in a circle. He won. Like, he had the best circle. I didn't watch, but apparently... I went to my uncle who watches all of it. He's like, it was a good one. Like, he had the best circle on the day. You follow IndyCar? Yeah. So he had the best circle of the year. And they gave him the badge or whatever, the trophy. And that's not funny. That's like, man, you're risking your life to get the best circle. Like, I reckon it's impressive. But he's actually the greatest driver in the history of the entire sport, like statistically, you know? Like when you play the PlayStation game, man, he's the dude you select. Yeah, I select him and drive repeatedly into the wall. It's to overcome childhood trauma. But you know, he can die doing his job. You know, I can die as well, but it's an internal. I have died many times on the inside, but he actually dies. And so that makes you, like, Will's very profound, like he's very philosophical. Like he said something really profound to me when he won the world championship. He said, you know what, bro? Everything I've dreamed of having since I was a kid, I have right now. And he goes, you know what? It doesn't make you any happier. He said, in fact, it can make you sadder because everything we're told in this society that will make you happy doesn't. And when you get it and you realise that, it can make you really depressed. And he looked me right in the eyes as he said this, and I'll never forget it. He goes, you know what success is? Success is being in the moment more often with your friends and family. He said that's success. And he looked me right in the eyes as he said it. And he just started that Ferrari up. And he flicked me a small diamond because he has a pouch of diamonds now from the championship. I don't know if that's part of it. And he flicked me a diamond and took off because I'm not allowed to sit in that particular car. And he started doing circles and they were perfect. I was like, it all makes sense, you know, like. But in a lot of ways, I feel sorry for my dad, you know, because like things, for the older generation, like things are changing so fast. You know, like my dad posted a Facebook status the other day and the status was, how do I log into my Facebook? That's how confused he is about the world. Like, how do I log into my Facebook? And I'm like, you're in, dude, trust me, you're in. But that'll be us. We'll be retiring. There'll be technology we don't understand. You know, like they're already talking about connecting your brain to the internet. That'll be us. We'll forget to put a thought on private. And you'll accidentally send out big dressed as nuns to your whole contacts list. Someone the other day on my Facebook shared a Nike ad, which made me really angry. I hate that shit because like it was like a woke, you know those woke Nike ads? It was like a pregnant African woman and it was like, Nike, the toughest athletes on the planet. She's like, that's right, everybody. Good job, Nike. It's about time people understood that African women are real and they get pregnant, okay? But I hate that because Nike is like the worst corporation. Like they just got accused of slave labour. Like they just use wokeness to hide the evil they're doing. Do you know what I mean? Like, you just know they would have had a boardroom meeting where they're like, look, guys, we've been accused of slave labour again. We need to ramp up the wokeness. Suggestions, what do you got? Okay, what about this? An ad, it's Serena Williams playing tennis with 2 white women. And it's like, Nike, dream crazy. It's like, I think we could be a little more woke than that. Okay, Usain Bolt holding hands with 4 Asian men as they run through a refugee camp. Nike, dreams take struggle. Good, Richard, but I don't think you understand. We need to distract from slavery here. We need way more wokeness than that. Okay, a lesbian Muslim playing soccer with a disabled Jew. Nike, dreams unite. Better, Richard. Now you're on it. I can see you're on it. More, though. I know you've got more. Okay, a non-binary Asian trans woman runs through a stadium of disabled Arabic men. When they cross the line, boom, close up on a midget. Brilliant, Richard. You've done it again. Brilliant. That's a little bit offensive, though. It's not midget, it's little people. Excuse me. We've been trying to get them into basketball for years. I wish they did good but had ads. Wouldn't it be better if it was the other way around? Like, people actually did actions and then said the opposite. I would rather that, wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Like, their ads are but they're doing amazing things, paying their workers crazy. But their ads are like Michael Jordan walks out, he's like, you'll never be me. Look at you, you fat sitting on the couch, you're drinking custard, you think you're going to put on my shoes and slam dunk, you're nothing. Nike, don't dream.
I hit a cop car with my car. I don't recommend doing that. I was driving home with my fiance. We were just a few blocks from home. We were passing by this cafe that I go to from time to time. I noticed it peripherally that they were open later than usual. So I turned my head like, oh, they're open later than usual. When I turned back, the words police were getting closer and closer. I rammed into the cop car's bumper, and my fiance, to her credit, didn't say anything, but I could just feel everything she was thinking. I was like, you're right. You're absolutely right about all of it. The cop car, we're at a light. The cop car turns off to a side street. So then I turn to my fiance, like, should we just get the hell out of here? Like, it's like, no, we can't do that. So then I turn and follow the cop and pull up behind him. Now all of a sudden it's like I'm pulling him over. It's like, maybe I work for the NYPD now. So then we're just sitting and waiting. Cop finally gets out, ambles over. First thing he says is, bad idea hitting a cop car. I was like, yeah, actually, it wasn't my idea. It just happened. Then he was kind of like pacing around. Like, you remember when you were a kid and your parents were almost like searching for the punishment? They were beside themselves. So I'm waiting. Finally, he's like, fuck it, I don't want to deal with this. I was like, that was my solution. Then he goes, you were never here. Which I thought was almost existential. Like, are any of us ever really, truly here? Then he turns and walks back to his car. As he's about to get in, he turns back and says, oh, are you okay? I was like, yeah, we're fine. Are you okay? He's like, yeah. Gets into his car, drives away. I turn to my fiance and say, I don't know what these black folks are complaining about. That could not have been a more pleasant exchange. I felt safe, I felt protected, I felt like my life mattered.
Dr. Pimple Popper. Another good one that makes you feel good. Again, we have these down days, these down weeks. Life gets tricky, man. People don't talk about it enough, that just how much certain shows can just give you that mood boost that you're looking for. Could really turn the entire year around. Dr. Pimple Popper is a show where you're like, man, I needed this. I was having a weird off week. I missed my best bud's birthday. I was late on a cable payment. Then you turn on Pimple Popper and you're like, at least I'm not that guy. You know what I'm saying? At least I'm not walking into her office like, hey, I got a foot on my shoulder. You got any cream for the shoulder foot, Dr. Pimple Popple? It's like, Jesus, Grover, how'd you escape Sesame Street? Got out of your contract?
I like saying thank you to the pilot when I walk off the plane. I like doing that. How many people say thank you to the pilot when you get off the plane? All right. It's a decent amount, but it's not everybody. What's wrong with you? Why are you gonna be a jerk? That's all they want. That's all a pilot wants. If you fly, that's the first thing. As soon as they park, the door just flies open at the front. They're just like... Hey, did you notice how we didn't all die? You're welcome. You're welcome for that. I did that for you. And we all just shuffle off in our pajama bottoms and Crocs, like, don't make eye contact with me. So rude. That's all they want is the thank you for that job. They're up there. They're tucked in up there. They are tucked in with dress shoes the whole time. And we're back there with like half a in sweatpants. Like, nodding off on pills and tiny bottles of booze. They're wearing a goddamn sport coat up there for you. You ever look in a cockpit? It's a panic room. It's just a chamber. It's a chamber of anxiety for anybody that doesn't know. And they know all the buttons, all the switches. They know what to do. The windshield, that's arbitrary. That's for us. If a pilot sees something wrong out the windshield, we're dead. We're already dead. Like nobody's gonna get on a plane without a windshield. That's for you guys to feel all right. If something's going wrong out there, we're f***ed, man. We're just straight up. I'll tell you that. At the beginning, they get in there and just know. They're like, every switch, like, don't die, don't die, don't die. Will not die. We won't die here. Won't die if I do that. Better not die, better not die, better not die. Oh, here's the big old good luck lever. We need that. Don't die. Almost, if I didn't do this, we would have definitely died. Look, thank God, don't die. And here we go, not dying. And then we all just hung over, shuffling off like the landing was a little choppy. I don't know.
And long before my mom had dementia, she had retired from teaching, and she had taken on some interesting retirement hobbies. She had started to screenshot the selfies I would post on Instagram, and then she would print them out and go to Kohl's and buy those 30 photo collage frames and frame my selfies. But I didn't know she was doing this until I visited home one day and I just walked into a museum. Of my narcissism. And my mom crept up behind me. She was like, "Do you love it?" What is this, a haunted house? This is horrifying. I'll never take a selfie again. This is like an intervention. But here's the thing. Nobody had taught my mom how to crop a screenshot. So all of these printed, framed photos show her phone battery percentage. If somebody texted her as she took the screenshot, it's up there. There's a framed photo somewhere of my face with a text from my ex to my mom like, "Your daughter just in a box." Please advise.
You know, there was a thing I read recently that there was a woman in Decatur, Georgia. She heard some buzzing. You're gonna love this one then. She had 120,000 bees living in her ceiling. This is true. You can Google it later. Just put in 120,000 and bee, it'll autocorrect bees. And I don't know about you guys, Denver, but I feel like if I see 5 bees, I'm like, there's a lot of bees here. We should do something about our bee problem. But you know, me, maybe I'm some liberal coastal elite mother who notices bees, you know? Well, let's say 10,000 bees. Wow, 10,000 bees coming and going from your house, doing what they do, eating leaves and I don't know much about bees' lives or what they eat. That definitely seems like enough bees to be like, bees. No? What about 20,000 bees? That's 2 times 10,000 bees, which already seemed like a lot to me. No? 30,000 bees? I talked to a bee person. 30,000 bees is 9 pounds of bees. That's a healthy baby boy of bees. Definitely seems like enough bees to be like, we have bees here. No? 40,000 bees! 40,000 bees! That is a golden doodle of bees. Woof, woof, there are bees here. No, we're not noticing them yet? 50,000 bees, 50,000 bees. That's Dodger Stadium of bees. Each bee has its own seat. Adorable, but a lot of bees. Empirically, a lot of bees. What, 60,000? What are you talking about, 60,000 bees and we haven't noticed them? That's a Nissan Juke filled with bees. And they're packed in tight, they're holding each other, tip to tail, tip to tail. They could drive the thing if they could figure it out, but they can't because they're bees. Nary a peep from this woman at 60,000 bees. It takes 2 Nissan Jukes filled with bees before this woman is like, there appear to be bees here. And that's America, guys.
And if you get to the point in your life when you wake up one morning and think, you know, I need a chimp. You're doing too much. Chimpanzees are horrible animals. If you've ever read a newspaper story about someone who's been attacked by a chimpanzee, the wounds are always horrific. And they're always the same. Because chimpanzees are born with this thing called an attack protocol. Chimpanzees are born knowing how to kill you. The first thing a chimpanzee does when it attacks you, and I'm going to tell you, I want you to know. They say that when a bear attacks you, you're supposed to make yourself look as physically imposing as you possibly can and speak very soothingly. The trial and error that went into figuring that out is written in the blood of campers. Bear! Mersey dotes and dozy dotes and little emsy timey. Don't sing pop songs from the 30s. Next! But bears are so stupid. Bears think we all walk around with shit in our pants. Because everyone they've ever caught well, we're 12 for 12, you tell me. Let's just eat the top half and go find some garbage. Should we tell them we speak English? Why? So we can talk about the shit in their pants? Here's your head.
I'm from Virginia. I know, you guys are like, what? We thought you were from Paris. And I'm like, yeah, don't let this chic outfit fool you. I'm from Virginia. And my dad's job in Virginia, my dad paints the lines on the road. Yeah, paints the line. Yeah, I don't want to say street artist, but, you know, my dad's Banksy, so, you know, yeah. He loves it. He loves his job. He's very proud of his work. If you've been in Virginia, you've seen it, you know. And this is my favorite story ever. He calls me back when the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial was happening. Okay, he calls me. He's so excited. He's like, Courtney, you seen this Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial? And I was like, yeah, but why are you calling me about this? I swear to God, he goes, well, guess who painted the parking lot of the courthouse? You ain't the only one who's famous now, girl. He kept sending me pictures. Ignore Johnny Depp. Look how straight those lines are. He's the best. He's the best. He's a very manly man, very macho guy, very, you know, Irish Catholic and Southern. You know, we don't talk about anything, okay? Nothing. And so when I started going to therapy, I told my dad I was going to therapy. And my dad was like, okay, all right. Is it helping you? And I go, yeah, therapy's helping me, all right. He goes, okay, you tell your therapist I owe him a beer when I get up there. Okay, that's very nice, okay. And then I swear to God, he goes, or an apple martini. Yeah, that's a gay joke. Yeah. That's how masculine my dad is. He's like, any man thinking about his feelings must have a sweet tooth. You know what I mean? Me and my husband, we got him a bidet for Christmas. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. We got him a bidet last Christmas, okay? And when he opened this thing, he looked at us like we were trying to turn him gay. He was like, what? He opens it. Okay, this Christmas, guess who has a bidet in every bathroom of the house? Yeah, and guess who's gay? Oh! Love wins! Thank you.
I'm expected in my 40s to have a lot more money than I actually do. The advertisers assume you've got money to spare. They kind of know what year you're from, so they're like, hey, remember when you were a kid and you had a Nintendo and you gave it up and you got a Sega Genesis? Well, similarly, it's time to hop out of that Mercedes and squeeze into a new BMW. You're in your 40s, and I'm like, please, calm down, please. I have a bus pass on me, and I know it has $14 on it because I'm using it. I have a reckless nightlife lifestyle. I eat junk food, I'm up late, I drink a lot. I'm here with all of you tonight. What do you think we're doing tonight? This is what it's like for me every night, okay? If I want to feel seen, I need advertisements that sound like they're for a luxury car commercial, but it's actually just for just junk food. Introducing the all-new Doritos D25i. A luxury snacking experience unlike any other in the impulse aisle. Expertly crafted with bespoke spices, xanthan gum sourced in the Alps mountains, and a sodium salt power of 150% of your recommended daily allowance. The Doritos D25i, with a surprisingly crunchy exterior and a sassy, vitamin-rich interior. It'll have you reevaluating what is possible in a snacking chip experience. Drop into your Southern California Dorito dealer for a test taste today. Thanks. Yeah. I'm ready to sell out. I've got the voice for it.
Every summer, my friends and I, we would go to the fair, go to the Midway. I'm sure you probably know that on the Midway, there's a sort of notoriously janky haunted house, right? So every year, my friends and I would go into this horrible, dilapidated haunted house, and we would roast it. You know what I'm saying? Just 4 boys criticizing the lighting, the set design, the acting. You know, real bad boy shit. So yeah, it was our senior year. It was like one of those high school movies, kind of bittersweet. We were like, we're all going to different colleges. This might be the last time we roast this haunted house together. We gotta savor this moment. And we walk in, and they go way faster than me. So I'm by myself, just criticizing left and right. And I turn a corner, and this guy dressed up as a werewolf gives the worst performance you've ever seen in your life. He jumps out. This is legit. He was just like, I couldn't believe what I was seeing. I was like, come on, dude. I was like looking at him through the holes in his mask. I was like, that was the worst werewolf I've ever seen. And I've been to a lot of these, okay? You really got to step it up. That was pathetic. And he fucked me up. Like, he just kicked the shit out of me. It was crazy. He threw me against the wall. He's punching me in the ribs, slamming my head against the wall. Like, you know, and you never expect that from a werewolf. I was getting beaten up, and people were walking by. I was begging people, passersby, get this werewolf off of me, please help me, I'm really getting hurt, help me. No one would help me, and it took me so long before I realized, of course no one's helping me, because they're turning the corner and they're just like, damn, they really stepped it up this year. That looked like a real werewolf attack. That little girl was really, really crying.
I love everything about doing stand-up comedy. I like the bad parts of doing stand-up. I like staying in the worst hotels I've ever seen in my entire life. Your Days Inns, okay? Your Quality Inns. Anybody familiar? No? All rich as hell? Okay, cool. That's good. Have you ever walked into a Quality Inn and you're just like, honestly, I would have gone for quantity at this point. You guys really messed up the quality part, if I'm being honest. I stayed at a Days Inn in Southwest Arkansas recently, not to flex on you guys. Do not want to brag. That had a loofah in the shower. How do we feel about that? Would you use a Days Inn loofah? No. Okay. So I didn't think that I would either. It was a long day on the road. I was feeling grimy. I used it, okay? I like exfoliated. It was like 6 or 7 minutes. I washed myself like a woman in a movie who was trying to forget a memory. Do you know what I mean? It was deep. It was severe. The next day I went to check out and the guy was like, how was your stay? I was like, I really like the loofah. I think it's a nice touch. And he, of course, said, what loofah? I loved being in the South, though. I'm from the South, like Iliza said. I'm from Nashville. Yeah, I grew up in Nashville, Tennessee. My first working years of my life, from the time I was 15 until I was 47 years old, I worked at a water park in Nashville, Tennessee called Nashville Shores Water Park. It's the home of water, sun, and family fun. If you haven't heard about it. I learned a lot of very important lessons from working at a water park. I do want to share some of them with you now. Okay, number 1, there is no right or wrong response to being called a bitch by a guy who is both soaking wet and eating a corn dog. Okay? That's not even a real person. Gloves are off, okay? You can say whatever you want to that guy. Number 2, if you're ever checking bags at a water park and you find a big old bag of weed, you just get to have that now. That's just yours. There's no step 2. Just get high, you know? Have a great summer. Hags, girl. Hags it up. Number 3, and I think maybe most importantly, if you think that someone might be a little bit too fat to fit into an enclosed water slide, it is cool if you just let them figure that out on their own, okay? Do not call them out. They'll call you a bitch while they eat a corn dog. They do it every time. Literally every time. I will never forget the day at that job that my boss told me to be sure to confiscate any guns that I found. He said, be sure to snatch up any handguns you find. I am still laughing thinking about what teenager making $6.25 an hour is taking a handgun from the kind of guy that brings a gun to a water park, okay? Can you imagine trying to take a gun from a water park guy and it like going well? Just be like, sir, I'm gonna have to confiscate that. He's just like, oh my God. Egg on my face. I didn't read the rules. Of course. No, he's gonna shoot you. Okay.
I don't fight anymore. The last time I got in a fight, I was like, it was like 10 years ago. I was living in New York City, and I was walking in my neighborhood, like in the Lower East Side, and I hear this guy behind me goes, "Hey, man, what are you looking at?" And I turned around, which don't do that. If you go to New York City and you hear somebody behind you yelling, you just keep walking. If it sounds like your mom, leave her. Like, you just leave her. Cut her loose, okay? It was a crazy guy. He sprinted up. He got my face. He goes, "I was talking to you, man. Don't walk away from me, man." I go, "I don't know who you are, man." And he punched me in the head. Like, I should have seen it coming. He was like winding up like it was cartoon. Like he was like Popeye. He's like winding up, and he hit me. And at that point, I hadn't been hit in about 20 years, and I forgot what you were supposed to do. And then I remembered I used to practice fighting every day in college, and I wrestled him. I did. I shot a single leg takedown to the right side. I picked his leg way up here like you're supposed to, and he went right down. Like he sucked. Like this guy, I guarantee he never made it past districts. Like he just wasn't good. And I got out on top of him, and I lost my mind. I was like, "I used to wrestle! If somebody would have walked by, they would have been like, "There's a crazy guy getting beat up by a really crazy guy." And it's New York City, so people did start walking by, and it's New York City, so nobody cared. They're like, "Oh, looks like Larry's losing tonight." Anyway, finally some guy walked by and he pulled out his cell phone. He started videotaping us, and that's when it all came flooding back to me. I'm like, I'm 46, I'm fighting in a major metropolitan area on the streets. There's gonna be legal consequences. And it was the weirdest end to a wrestling match. I just go, "Hey, man, I gotta go." Like, I just slept. My mom said I had to be home by 8. Like, I just left, and he left, and nobody said anything. Like, the only guy that said anything was a dude with the cell phone. As I was walking away, he goes, "Yo, dog, why'd he hit you?" I was like, "'Cause he's crazy." He goes, "You a champ, dog. You a champ." And that made me, like, proud. I was proud. I was like, yeah, at least one person in this city knows I can still beat a heroin addict in a wrestling match if I need to. And I just I went home and I was like shaken up. And I called my friend Mike, who had lived in the city for a long time. And we got to the part about the cell phone, and he goes, whoa, dude, this is on tape? I go, "Yeah, I guess so." He goes, "Dude, this is gonna be the biggest thing in your career." I go, "Hey, man, I had a Comedy Central special." He goes, "Yeah, dude, but people are gonna watch this, like, they're..."
You were looking at someone right now. I wasn't sure whether I was gonna say this, but you guys seem very friendly, so I'm gonna be a little vulnerable. You guys are all looking at someone who in 2019 still is a member of America Online. AOL. The Scarlet Letters. AOL was an email platform people used to use back in the Paleolithic era. I can see your disgust, your mocking derision. That's fine. It just makes me stronger. I use AOL for cybersecurity reasons. You guys are all worried about your email getting hacked. Nobody's hacking AOL. What are you hoping to find? Crock-pot recipes? I'm hiding in plain sight. Greetings from the middle distance. 24 years I've been a member of AOL. That's a longer relationship I've had with an actual human being. I'm gonna stick with it, man. It's gonna come around again. Everything people make fun of eventually comes around. AOL is gonna be like that song Africa by Toto. People are just gonna arbitrarily decide it's cool one day, and I'm gonna be there. Part of me feels like the cool kids are just waiting for me to leave so they can all flood in and gentrify it. Turn it into like a digital Brooklyn or something. I'm gonna be like that one old lady who won't sell her brownstone. It's not my only email. I use Gmail under duress. I had to sign up for Gmail like 6 years ago because I was trying to get a job writing for a TV show, and my friend called me and he's like, "Hey man, listen, this is really good stuff, but do you have a different email address that you could send this from? Because if they see AOL, you're not going to get this job." What am I, a registered sex offender? It's 3 letters at the end of my name. Who cares? And listen, I don't want to share everything with Gmail. A man has certain needs, okay? There's certain things I don't want to share with Sergey Brin's algorithm. Listen, I do a lot of late night shopping. When I get high at 2 in the morning and buy a onesie for my dog, they're going to ask for a confirmation email. I don't want Gmail to have that information. My Tybo exercise DVDs, my set of Ozzy Osbourne Bark at the Moon drink coasters. No, you take that over to AOL. They keep it hush-hush. And AOL reminds me of like a kinder time in the internet. Everything's so serious now. People used to have silly, fun email addresses. It's true. Now it's just yourname@gmail.com. It wasn't like that, man. For 8 years, my primary day-to-day email address was mrblahlblah@aol.com. I had that printed on a business card that I handed to people with pride. By the way, if any of you ladies recognize Mr. Blahblah at AOL.com, I would like to apologize for trying to lure you into a private chat room, asking for your age, sex, and location. What can I tell you? It was a different time. I still basically feel like the same person. That's the strange thing is, when you do comedy for a living, ostensibly, you live like a sophomore in college for your entire adult life, which is amazing when you're 25. It is not good when you're 45. When I bump into people that I grew up with and they start talking to me about like adult subjects like the stock market, I'm like, who are you, my dad? It's not acceptable. You can't be above personal finance in your 40s. I have to come up with a better retirement plan than my current one. My current retirement plan is spend whatever money I have and then kill myself. Like, that's my current agenda. I'm 60% joking. No, I don't mean that in a sad way, like, oh, I'm gonna kill myself. I can always kill myself. Like, it's an option. No, I was getting really stressed out about my bills, then I remembered, I could just kill myself. That doesn't make you feel just a little better knowing that's on the menu? Some of you are taking this too seriously. I'm not talking about now. I'm talking in my 80s, like 40 years from now. I'm gonna live a long, happy life. Eventually, I will run out of cash. I'll have to move on to my credit cards. And from that day forward, we are officially on the clock. Time to wrap it up. Enter the dismount, so to speak. Go on whatever dream vacation I've always fantasized about. Put it all on MasterCard, because screw them. I'm gonna wring every last cash advance out of my credit cards, and then the day before the police show up to throw me into like debtor's prison, I'm just gonna close the garage door, turn the car on, and go to sleep. You act like that's depressing. That is way less depressing than going to an accountant and figuring this out. Ugh. Now all I need is a home with a garage. Tears of a clown. I did get my taxes done last year, and the accountant got mad at me. He told me I need to invest in something called a Roth IRA. Do you guys know what a Roth IRA is? Yeah? You just cheered for a financial plan, sir. Maybe you can explain it to me, because the entire time he was talking, all I did was imagine David Lee Roth as an Irish terrorist. He said Roth IRA, and I was just like, and I heard nothing after that. He just kept yammering on, and I had a little thought bubble of David Lee Roth dressed as a leprechaun, like doing high kicks with a Tommy gun, like, give Ireland back to the Irish, Aaron go brawler, scoobity-boobity-bop. David Lee Roth was a singer in a rock and roll band. Rock and roll is a type of music that, okay, just make sure no child left behind. I don't need to tell you people this, you guys. You DC smarty pantses. You know who doesn't seem as silly to me as they used to? Doomsday preppers. Remember how ridiculous those guys used to seem? Like, hey, look at that weirdo with the beard and the bomb shelter. Now I'm like, wait, so how far below ground does that need to be? What is the proper jar size for urine storage? It's fine, man. I won't be here. I don't care. I'm 45. Which means I'm not elderly, but I am decaying. I've crested physically. Like, it's not getting better. There's literally nothing positive in my future from a physical standpoint. It's not like, man, just you wait till I turn 50. I'm gonna be ripped. Nope. For the rest of my life, it's this body or more disgusting. That's what it is. It's all going one direction, just talking about pace. You know when you pull a tomato out of your fridge? You know, because like 2 weeks ago you were feeling optimistic at the grocery store. I don't know if that resonates with people. Every 6 months or so, I'll be at the grocery store packing up my usual cartload of garbage, my Diet Mountain Dew and my flavor-blasted goldfish crackers. In this weird wave of health optimism will sweep over me, like, what if I start making salad at home? I'm gonna change my life. Today's the day where I transform into a salad guy. I start throwing produce in my cart willy-nilly. I never feel so proud as when I'm pushing a cart full of vegetables up to the register. You're right, supermarket lady. That is a lot of salad I'll be having later. You losers in line are going to be waiting for a while because she's got to weigh all this. No scanning for this kid. You got to punch in some codes for me, lady. What is the code for artichokes? I don't know. Look it up in your little spinny wheel. That little paper towel holder with the numbers on it. Look it up. Then I go home and I take my $73 worth of produce and drop it in the bottom drawer of the fridge and forget about it. Cut to 15 days later. It's around midnight, and I've had one of those days. You know, those days where you end it by just staring into the fridge looking for answers. You're not even hungry, it's just like, okay, fridge, give me something. Give me something. Let's turn this one around, fridge. You can do it for me. What if I get really close and shut the door behind me? Does that feel like a hug? Is that kind of like a hug from the fridge? It's so cold. Just like mommy. I spent a lot of nights staring into the fridge, man. Like, all right, nothing on this shelf, nothing on this shelf, nothing down here. What the hell is this? Oh my God, that's salad! I totally forgot about salad. Remember salad? That was that day I was gonna change my life. Oh my God, I was so high that day. But sometimes you will pull a tomato out and it's like smaller than when you bought it. Like it's not rotten, but it's been in there for a while, so it's like a little shriveled. When you poke it, it leaves a dent. And you have to ask yourself, can I eat this without it making me sick? Ladies, that is the exact stage that this body is in. Oh, you can eat me, but it must be today. You have to eat me today. I don't think she's into it. What about you, Chrome Dome? You want to get weird tonight? You and me? A little sexy? Make this a Valentine's to remember? I'm trying to stave off the inevitable. I do go to the gymnasium. I don't like it. I'm not one of those weirdos who enjoys physical fitness. I used to go to a personal trainer, and I had to stop because the guy was just too excited about life. Just bummed me out. He was always telling me to bring it. Like, I'd be on the bench trying to push up the bar, he'd be standing above me. Come on, man, bring it, bring it! Like, dude, I don't even think I have it. So, let me look around and I'll just bring whatever I find. How about you bring it and I borrow it for like an hour? And 10 minutes later, he told me to get some. Like, come on, man, get some! Okay, why did I need to bring it if there was some here? That makes zero sense. Wordplay. I'm making changes. I am making changes. I'm trying to quit. Just quit overall. That's my plan for the future. Quitters get a bad rap. There's a lot of anti-quitter bias in this country. From an early age, they tell you, hey, stick with it. Don't be a quitter. The world needs quitters, people. Without quitters, a stampede would never end. Think about it. A herd of buffalo thundering across the plain, just running. They don't know why they're running. They're just running because everybody else is running. They'd run until they drop dead, if not for that one heroic quitter who looked around and said, yeah, I'm not going to do this. I'm going to go chill by the creek. I aim to be that buffalo.
Jew is a fun word, huh? It's a weird word. It's a last name. Did you know that? I went to Jewish summer camp with a kid named Ben Jew. That's a real person. And Joey Matzah. Those are real people. I sound like an undercover Klansman trying to just make up stuff. I'm like, yeah, I went to Jew camp with Ben Jew and Joey Matzah and Dreidel Bagelstein. But here is what I think is weird about the word Jew. Typically, a slur takes a proper ethnic term and shortens it. Like, I can't list them, but you know them all. But Jew is already compact, right? So people get weird. Like, am I allowed to say Jew? Is that okay? I'm like, yeah, Jew. Jew is fine. Jew is great. So long as it's a noun, right? I'm a Jew. You're a Jew. It's the adjectives and verbs that'll get you in trouble. Like, yeah, my Jew lawyer tried to Jew me out of $5,000. I'm like, whoa, no. My Jewish lawyer tried to jip me out of $5,000. See? It's better because it offends a smaller, less powerful group of people. That's a fun joke to tell. Because a lot of stuff has to go right? To even get the joke, you gotta know some stuff, some history, some etymology, and then to laugh, you have to be a bad person. So that sweet spot, just educated and amoral. That's the fan base I'm trying to cultivate.
You guys have those like obnoxiously named overpriced doggy daycare places around here? Those dumb names. Do you guys have any? Yell them out. What's the names of the places? Dogtopia. I was in Boulder, Colorado. They had one called Bonjour. And it's like... I bring my dog to a place, $50 to bring her to hang out for the day. And then they text me like to guilt me into buying add-ons for her. They sent me a picture of her. She's all sad. The other dogs are in the back like f***ing and drinking and smoking cigarettes. My dog... Dog's doing a keg stand. They text me, for $15, you could get your dog a compassionate CBD paw rub. I'm like, can you just make sure she doesn't eat? That's like really all we want. She doesn't need 12 minutes in the heated pool with a snuffle pad. Just please keep her out of traffic. That's all we want.
I was racist in grade 1. Yeah. I didn't mean to be racist. I don't know why I did this. My best friend was a kid named Rami Jahari. That's how he said his name. I don't know why I did this. I wasn't trying to be funny. I wasn't trying to be mean. I was just a 6-year-old kid. He was one of my best friends, but I'd call him over every recess. Rami! Okay, let's try this. Did I say anything? Nothing? Okay, I got some other ideas tomorrow. I'll see you at recess. I do that every day. Then I go to his house for lunch. You ever go to an Arabic person's house for lunch when you're 6? It's terrifying. Everything they say, they sound angry. His father would come in the room. Rama! Mitayaka si tayar makaratia! Okay. My dad would like to know if you'd like a peanut butter and jelly sandwich for lunch.
I think that horseback riding is quite overly descriptive for that activity. Because why do we have the word back in there? Like, you've all seen a horse before. Everyone picture a horse right now. Where else are you going to ride it? What other option is there? You're grabbing the tail and doing a little land ski? I guarantee you anyone who's ever tried to horse front ride has died. Cause of death, horse. What do you want to do this weekend? Oh, let's go horseback riding. Great, how are we gonna get there? It's pretty far away. I guess we'll have to car inside drive. You know, in England, where they know a thing or two about the English language, they call it horse riding. And if someone came to you and they said, hey, you know, last weekend I went horse riding, you wouldn't be like, how? Can you be more specific? How were you arranged on this beast? Were you on top or was it a belly-to-belly type of thing? I just don't... I need a visual.
One night I was sitting around my apartment during the pandemic. One night, I mean, more than one, but that particular night, I decided to Google weird laws in Boulder, Colorado. Well, you know, I had some time. So, and this is true, these are all really laws in Boulder. You cannot graze your llama on public land in Boulder, you know? I swear that's true. And that bummed me out, I'm not gonna lie. I had to have a heart-to-heart talk with my llama. I'm like, I can't afford to feed you anymore. You're not allowed to graze on public land, so you're free to go, yeah? Oh, thanks, yeah. If you ever come across a llama wandering around Boulder, that's Bobby, you know? So maybe try to point him in the direction of some private land and let him... All right.
Taco Bell is amazing. You guys like Taco Bell? Yeah, that's a very polarizing restaurant. No one's ever on the fence about Taco Bell. You just say it and people are like, absolutely, or hard pass, which is a constipation joke, but also a firm no. I respect Taco Bell because they know what I just said. They know if you're going to eat there, you're going to eat there. You ever seen a commercial for Taco Bell? Never makes sense. Doesn't have to. Doesn't affect the bottom line. They'll put out a product that has the exact same ingredients as 6 other products on their current menu. They just change the name or shape of it and try to make you feel dumb when you call them out on it. They're like, you've never had this. This is seasoned steak, lettuce, cheese, tomatoes, and sour cream encased in a flour tortilla. How does that sound? I mean, it sounds like a steak burrito. Well, it's not. One more time for the new guy. All right, steak burrito. See it right here? It's rolled up. Big deal. This, guys, what we did here is we fold in the sides and we press it with a t-shirt iron. What is so hard to understand about the technology we've invested to make crunch wraps? That's it. They make up food names. Like, those things don't exist. There's no such thing as a crunch wrap. Their dessert menu's a joke. They just take other desserts you've heard of and change it a little bit. They're like, we're the only ones that have Cinnabon bites. Isn't that just a cut up Cinnabon? I mean, yeah, but we cut it up for you, okay? You could say gracias. My bad. Is there like a cool container you're gonna serve them to me in? No, man, it's just a drink cup. But we gave it a Slurpee lid so you could cut your fingers trying to get the ones off the bottom. So, de nada.
Just to catch breath, if you want to feel worse about yourself, watch America's Got Talent. Great way to make yourself feel like a useless piece of garbage. Because the things people do on America's Got Talent are just so insanely impressive. And then they also have these crazy backstories of adversity that make it even more impressive. Someone will go up and be like, hi, everyone, my name's Connor. I'm 14 years old. I was born with a very rare eye disease that has rendered me almost completely blind. At the age of 2, I started juggling butcher knives. Which has been tough because of, you know, the blindness. Now I perform and panhandle on street corners to help support my paralyzed single mother. I'm watching, like, yeah, well, I just made an omelet all by myself. Very humbling show to watch. And I can tell the things that people do on America's Got Talent are like insanely impressive, but it's too impressive for like the average viewer to like emotionally connect to, and that's what you want, you know? Like, I just think, like, someone will go up there and be like, hi, judges, for my performance today, I'm gonna be solving 30 Rubik's Cubes in 5 seconds while on fire, or like, do something crazy. I think you just say something more relatable. I wanna see someone go on stage and be like, hi, judges, for my performance today, I will be assembling this IKEA wardrobe without saying the F word. I'd be like, what? No chance, how's he gonna do that?
I wanna see a Casablanca that's made today. Whoever plays the part of Rick is there up all night, drowning their sorrows, and he's like, of all the safe spaces in all the world, she or they had to wander into my nonprofit. That's right, it's a CBD cigarette. I'll have as much of it as I want and it won't hurt my lungs. Give me another White Claw. I can drink White Claws all night. Play it again, Shazam. You played it for her or them, you can play it for me, Shazam. Thank you.
I like the Zodiacs, but I think some of them, they sound quite offensive in the Western context. Like, I remember when my dad was introducing, like, our family to other people, and he'd tell other people our Zodiacs, it sounds so rude. He'd be like, my wife's a pig. My daughter's a dog, and my son's a rat, you know? Anyway, they're all born in the year of the horse, so... It was meant to be a good year, the year of the tiger. It was meant to be a hot one. It was not off to a good start for me. Off to a terrible start, actually. First day of the year of the tiger, I walked back into my house and I caught my housemate washing her dog with my shampoo. I couldn't believe it. It was this relaxing chamomile stuff. It was good stuff. It was expensive. Like, it's the best one at the 7-Eleven, and... on the side of the label it was like, vegan, organic, no animal testing. I had to call them up. I'm like, it's been tested.
I like being married. Being married's fun. Me and my husband have a lot of fun together. I will say, I don't know if you can tell by the shape of my body, but I'm Irish Catholic. Is that a register? If you don't know what that means, if you ever walked past a white woman and you're like, no way I could push her over, you know, that's us. And that's sort of like a sturdy bunch. The stereotypes about Irish Catholic people are we drink and we fight. And I'm going to be honest, those are my big two. Okay, those are my two favorite things. And my husband hates to fight, hates it. And I will admit, sometimes I get a little overzealous. Like, my husband watches all of these classic rock documentaries. I don't know if there's any other white guys here tonight, huh? Any white guys? Woo, don't woo, not in this climate. Okay. Every single one of these classic rock documentaries, they're horrible to women. I don't know if you've ever seen any. Every single one, they're like, chick got pregnant, so we left her at a truck stop. Rock and roll, baby. And it makes me so angry. And recently, I walk in our bedroom. He's watching this classic rock documentary. Huge performance scene. Full band, one single woman on stage. And she was holding this little guitar. Okay, I know. This set me off. I was like, oh, the woman's gotta hold the little guitar. She got hold the little guitar with the little woman arms, huh? She can't hold a big guitar like you big, strong man. She got a little guitar. I'll never forget. He goes, honey, that's a violin. I go, oh, you're gonna mansplain me violins now. Unbelievable.
So walking around my neighborhood, walk past a Girl Scout selling cookies at a table with her mom next door. I walked close to the table. I saw the Girl Scout was signing autographs for people. So I was like, oh, you a movie star? Her mom's like, her picture's on the box. I looked down at the box. Her picture was on the box. I'd never seen this before. I freaked out. Then I got a little competitive. I was like, well, the only reason I ask is I'm actually a movie star. I don't know what movies you've seen at your young age, little Janie, but I bet you saw one called Pootie Tang. You remember the guy in the car? You're talking to him. What about The Wrestler? Did you see that one, little Janie? Yeah. I got to go to the Venice Film Festival for the premiere, huh? I mean, they made me pay my own way, but when I got there, they let me watch a movie. Yeah, $3,300 flight. $700 for a tux, yeah. Anyway, give me a box of Samoas, make it out to Todd.
The spider that freaks me out the most, this might surprise you, it's not the tarantula, it's not the black widow, it's the daddy longlegs. Yes, right? Ugh. If you don't know what a daddy longlegs is, it's like a pencil eraser with a bunch of like spindly coming out of it, you know? Like, like no. No, that bug's a pig. Mm-mm. And someone told me the other day that I told them that I was afraid of daddy longlegs spiders. And she goes, oh, well, actually, a daddy longlegs spider is harmless to human beings because its fangs are not strong enough to pierce human skin. And to that I said, oh, do not talk to me like that. Don't speak to me that way. Its fangs are not strong enough. Like, socialize yourself. Go outside. What are we doing? Take that fang talk with you. I don't like that. I don't like it at all. And if you get nothing out of my set tonight, this is very important. She was wrong. She was very wrong. A daddy longlegs is not harmless to human beings because no animal is harmless to humans if he makes you call him daddy. Ah, yeah, look at daddy's long legs. Oh, God. Kill it. Smush that pervert. We can't have it. Some more personal news, everybody. I got married a couple months ago. Thank you so much. Thank you. Do we see her? Huh? Got married to a human woman. Who's alive and well. In that order. Got married, and my wedding night, best night of my entire life. The morning after, worst morning of my entire life. Baby was hungover. I'm baby. I wake up, turn to my wife, and I go, I feel like a bag of trash. Do you have anything I can take? And she goes, nothing. And I said, nothing! And I realize that voice doesn't scream provider. Doesn't even whisper provider, to be completely honest. So I asked if she had anything, she said nothing, and I go, Baka! So she's supportive. She starts going through her bag, and she pulls out these pills, and she goes, I have Midol. And I said, what is that? It sounds efficient, right? Yeah? Midol. It sounds strong, like for guys. And she told me what it did, and it's for, if you don't know what Midol is, it's what women take when they're experiencing premenstrual, you know, nervous, I just got premenstrual symptoms. And I said, beggars can't be choosers. What are these symptoms? And she's looking at the back of the box and she goes, all right, well, these help with cramps. And my tummy was a disaster. I was like, I have terrible cramps. What else does it do? And she goes, it also helps with bloating. And I said, I'm in my 30s and I ate dinner after 6:30 last night. I'm pretty bloated right now. We're 2 for 2. The drug's incredible. What else does it do? And then she said, oh, and this version actually helps with headaches. And I go, give it to me! I took 2 Midols, and I have never, ever felt so good in my entire life. So now I just take Midol. I take it all the time. I'm on 4 right now, and I'm glowing, Daddy. I have an aura. Being married means I'm a team player now. Team player over here, team player. Thank you. So when my wife asked me to go on a ghost tour of a Revolutionary War fort, I said yes, even though that sounds like shit. Would I want to do that? It's a terrible idea. Yeah, put me next to scare me people. You know who I'm talking about. Life's not horrifying enough for you. You gotta go, why go to a haunted house when you live in a haunted world? But fine. I went. I was dreading it. And it ended up being, after my wedding night, the second best night of my entire life. Because the tour guide was what is the term? A Every time he mentioned something scary or supernatural, he immediately debunked it with a perfectly logical explanation as to what had really happened. So I meet the tour guide, we're there, it's very dark out, and this guy, he's got a three-cornered hat on, big ass, bushy mustache. This guy's like 6'5", 370, he's a mountain of a man, sword on his hip. If walruses had a navy, he would be an admiral. He'd be a full bird admiral in the walrus navy. It's the craziest sentence I've ever said. So we get to the first stop on the tour, and the guy goes, "All right, everybody, gather around. Now, if you gaze across this fort, what do you see? Nothing but green grass everywhere. However, if you look at this 1 2-foot by 4-foot rectangle, you don't see any grass at all. And as a matter of fact, grass stopped growing here, legend says, right after the final execution was carried out here in this very location. It's almost as if the grass is too haunted to grow here. Or perhaps no grass grows here because it is the lowest point of the fort. And whenever it rains, all the water congregates in this 1 2-foot by 4-foot rectangle, rendering it impervious to seed. Is it a ghost? Or is it science? Who's to say? And people are confused. This is not what they signed up for. I'm thrilled. This is what I signed up for. I didn't know it yet, but it was. So the tour continues, and we get to the next stop on the tour, and the guy goes, "All right, everybody, gather around, congregate. Now, I need everybody here to be quiet. What is that sound you hear? What is that sound? Listen up, what's that sound?" That's right, silence. Can't hear nothing. However, multiple times over the year, we have our guests stay overnight here at the fort. We do a little camp out. And multiple times at 4 o'clock in the morning, our guests have heard a loud shrieking noise break out throughout the fort. A sound reminiscent of Mrs. Fredrickson when she found out that her husband, Colonel Fredrickson, the master of the fort, was beheaded by a cannonball in battle. And she was so upset, she hurled her body off the parapets of the fort, screaming all the way down until her body crashed into the ground, and she died. They say that noise was her ghost. Or perhaps that noise happens because we're in an area native to the northeastern red fox. And their mating season is late October, early November. Oh, I don't know, right around the time of this tour right now. And the female northeastern red fox's mating call is eerily similar to that of a bereaved woman. Is it a ghost? Is it a horny fox? Who's to say? And I have pissed my pants laughing. I'm with urine. People are furious. There was a lady on her phone looking up a refund for the tour that she was currently on. So we get to the final stop on the tour, and we go to what I believe was the old blacksmith shop. And this part was actually legitimately creepy. This part creeped me out. So we walk through this kind of a makeshift entrance, and there's like candle light, flickering on the walls. You hear the howling of the wind. It was sinister in there. And the tour guy goes, all right, everybody, circle up. Now, you might notice that we walk through a little makeshift entrance. That's because that main door, it's not stuck, but it would take many a strong man to open up that door. However, every once in a while when we're closing up for the night, we have multiple tour guides report that they see that door wide open. It's almost as if the ghost of the blacksmith, who literally cooked alive in this very location, swung that door open to get one more breath before he passes on to the other side. Perhaps it was his ghost that opened up that heavy door there, or perhaps that door's open because we're 1.5 miles away from the airport. And when those big old military planes take off, they create a sort of suction. A suction, I don't know, strong enough to open up that big old door over there? Who's to say? And this woman snaps. She goes, God damn it! Sir, how long have you been giving tours at this fort? 20 years. In your 2 decades giving tour at this fort, have you ever seen a ghost? Have you ever seen one ghost? My guy goes, Madam, I have noticed in my life that there is a direct correlation between one's level of education and whether or not they see ghosts.
I believe that popcorn is so good that it's the reason why we all have microwaves. Because they're not good at anything else. General Electric should be digging up Orville Redenbacher and kissing him on the lips every weekend. He sold every microwave in rotation today. If you think I'm lying, go look at a microwave. What does the top left button say? Yeah, it says popcorn, all right? It's above the numbers. Do you understand? They're like, don't do math. That's for burritos. We know why you're here. Microwave popcorn was incredible. It changed the game. I think the reason why microwave popcorn was so successful is because some people in this audience may be old enough to remember what it was like to make popcorn at home before the microwave. Yeah, it was like cooking meth. It was insane. It was quite literally the most dangerous thing you could do on a residential property. Parents would be like, get the kids out of the kitchen, I'm making popcorn in here. Turn their faces away from the oil. By the way, I'm pretty sure our insurance doesn't cover this, so if anything goes wrong, I was baking a pie, a corn pie. You all saw me. But we were willing to do it, because popcorn's incredible. Now, I know there are people that disagree with me. They say, Ivan, popcorn can't be number one because it gets stuck in your teeth. And yes, it does get stuck in your teeth, and that feels bad, but that bad feeling is offset by how good it feels when you finally get it out of there. So popcorn, back on top, number one. In fact, now I love that it gets stuck in your teeth because now you've just postponed a good feeling for later on. And who among us couldn't use that in these dark, uncertain times? Think about it. Eat a bowl of popcorn, you watch your favorite movie, everything's going great, but then the movie's too long. You stayed up too late. It's a work night. Oh no. I don't have time to brush my teeth. I gotta go right to bed. So you go to bed, you put your phone away, turn the light out. Now the only light left in the room is your digital clock. Why do you still have one? You don't know, but there it is. Floating in the dark, taunting you with how little sleep you're gonna get. If only you couldn't do math at this hour, but you can. Your brain keeps running the numbers and it keeps coming up short. And for some reason, this wakes you up more. I don't know why our minds do this. They're like, I am not gonna get enough sleep. How can I sleep at a time like this? I better stay as awake as possible and rapidly categorize all possible future failings. And as your thoughts begin to collide with the jagged edge of tomorrow's responsibilities, your tongue begins to explore the crevices of your teeth. And all of a sudden you make contact with that old familiar kernel skin lodged in your back molar. You forgot it was there. Now it's all you can focus on. And you wish for a second that your tongue had an ounce more dexterity. Oh, if only I could come at it from another angle, but you can't. All you can do is push feebly on it in the same direction you already tried 30 times prior. You think, I'll get my finger involved. Finger is the master of dexterity. Finger will help. Finger can't help. Finger can't even find it. It's hopelessly lost. Keep touching it with the end of your tongue. It's right there, finger. Next, you try to help your stupid finger by counting your own teeth. Like a lunatic. How many do I even have? Okay, it's 3 back. Go, finger, go! But this doesn't work. You have to abandon your dumb hand altogether. Just when you think all hope is lost, just when you're dangling over the event horizon of permanent despair, you reach down deep and give it one more push. What the hell, why not? But this time it's different. This time it moves a little bit. New hope springs eternal. You give it a couple more pushes and it flies free. Oh, do you spit it out? Not yet. First, it's time for a tiny celebration inside your mouth. First thing you do is put the kernel skin onto the end of your tongue like a little hat. And then you slide it in between your top and bottom front teeth and give it a bunch of tiny, tiny bites. As it disintegrates, you receive a rush of serotonin and dopamine that is better than drugs. What other snack does that? Oh, thank you. And thank you to everybody that did the tiny little bites along with me. I saw you. Now, my favorite thing about popcorn, though, definitely has to be there is no way anybody knew corn was gonna do that. Like, before there was popcorn, no one could have guessed that that was gonna happen. You could have taken the smartest person in the world, made them look at a cob of corn, and be like, hey, what do you think happens if you let this dry out and then heat it up? They certainly wouldn't have gone, I bet each kernel explodes only a little bit into a delicious soft snack you could put in a bowl. Nobody knew that. That would have been an insane guess, which means that popcorn must have been discovered by accident, and why don't we know that story? Where's that Netflix documentary? Why the hell did we all have to watch Tiger King? I want to know who found popcorn. I don't know how it went down. I have to imagine. I guess it was a family somewhere, procured some corn, cared for it inappropriately. The young son had to deliver the news. Papa. He's probably taller. Papa! The corn is too dry. We cannot eat it. This is a shame, son. Well, at least we won't freeze to death. Throw it on the fire. 1 to 3 minutes later. Oh, you're never gonna believe this! What's happening? No time to explain! Bring cheese, caramel, it doesn't matter! But I do love all snacks almost as much as I love popcorn. What I don't love is healthy people coming for snacks, right? They came for our meals and we let them. And now they're coming for snacks, and I don't think that's appropriate, all right? Snacks are a reward for eating healthy the rest of the time. I eat 3 gross meals I do not enjoy, and then at 11 o'clock at night, 3 bags of chips and a bowl of ice cream. That's how we do it. Now they want us to be healthy, like you have healthy snacks on hand. I don't even know what that is. I had to ask. I was like, what? What are the healthy snacks I should have? And they told me it's nuts. Ivan, you forgot about nuts, didn't you? Probably because they're illegal in every elementary school. Did you know that if you're an adult, you can just go get nuts? It's not even that hard. You just need money. They're in the grocery store, I found out, next to the chips, which I think is a bad spot. Because then you are forced to see, by comparison to chips, how expensive nuts are. I had no idea. A bag of chips is like $2, and it's the size of my pillow. You know how much $2 worth of nuts is? 3.5 almonds. That's not enough for a snack. I remember the first time I saw the price on a bag of pistachios, and I remember it very clearly because it shattered my brain. I was like, I can't believe I've ever had one of these. I've never been in a Ferrari. How have I had a pistachio? These shouldn't be in my life. So I thought, if I'm gonna do this, if I'm gonna break the bank on these snack nuts, I wanna go all the way to the top. I want the biggest bang for my nut buck. I want the healthiest possible nuts. So I asked them what it was. I said, what's the healthiest one? I'll just start there. And they said, it's walnuts, Ivan. Everybody knows that. And I said, I don't think anybody knows that. They said, yeah, walnuts are incredible. They are so healthy, you can eat as many walnuts as you want. And I said, wow, that is great news, because I'm actually already doing that. 0, they're gross. Walnuts are disgusting. If you don't believe me, eat a walnut and tell me if it's gone bad. You don't know. No one does. Every single time I have eaten a raw walnut, I'm like, nope, those are off. Call the hospital. I just opened the bag. Really? Because I think I just ate a spider covered in wood. That's what that tasted like. Is that what it was a bag of? Like, you can tell walnuts are bad because they're never the main flavor of anything. You never see a product advertised flavor, walnut. Furniture only is when that happens. If it's in food, it's always like maple walnut. And let's be honest, maple is gonna be doing the heavy lifting. This happens too much in the food world, I think. They'll take a bad food and try to pair it up with something better to try to sneak it into our lives. I think it needs to stop. The most egregious example of this, of course, is cinnamon raisin. Why are those two still together? If I was Cinnamon's PR manager, I'd be like, break up with Raisin immediately. You're Cinnamon, kid, you're a star. Everyone loves you. You can make it to the top on your own. Stop being seen in public with Raisin. Like, all Raisin is doing is dragging down Cinnamon's image. People are afraid of Cinnamon things because they think Raisin might be there. Would you like a cinnamon bun? I don't know. Will Raisin be in attendance? That's the worst place to find a raisin, isn't it? Cinnamon bun? When you least expect it? Ugh, it's terrible. Ruins your whole day. Because not only are they gross, they also do not cool down at the same speed as the rest of the bun. It's a safety concern. I don't understand how raisins manage to maintain the specific heat capacity of the center of a star. Anytime you take a cinnamon bun with raisins in it out of the oven or microwave, depending on your life choices, you can wait 20 minutes. I think it's ready to eat. No, it is not. There are 7 wrinkled balls of lava waiting for you. I will never understand how Cinnamon and Raisin got together in the first place. Yes, I'm still talking about this. Must have been a bad breakup. That's the only thing that makes sense. I've thought a lot about it. I think Cinnamon got dumped by Brown Sugar, probably. Just wandering the streets one night, its standards impossibly low. I'll never find a more perfect pairing. And then some shriveled up creep came around the corner. Hey! I used to be a grape, you know? You wanna go ruin some cookies?
So I'm in therapy. Anybody here in therapy? Oh, wow. That's a nice response. Usually it's just one person that's like, help. I'm like, oh. Let's talk to you. Yeah, I think therapy is amazing. But I guess not everybody always needs therapy. Some people do need therapy. And you can usually tell who those people are because they say things like, I don't need any therapy. I prefer to be a burden to my loved ones. You're like, sir, this is an Arby's? Why are you shouting? You're alarming the children. I had to work on my self-worth in therapy because I kept attracting some of the wrong people. One of my friends told me this quote. She said, once you know your worth, you'll stop giving people discounts. And I was like, well, slap my and call me Groupon, baby.
Like at school, my dream at school was, you know that moment when you're sitting in the classroom, teacher at the front, and the receptionist comes in with a note for one of the students. And we know this note. It's usually that someone's forgotten their school lunch money or like forgot their PE kit. But every now and again, this note was something more. And whenever this receptionist came in, I was just like, oh, is it death? Is it for me? Just so excited at the prospect of being told something awful in front of people. Want to hear something ridiculous? All four of my grandparents died when I was at school. My parents told me when I got home. No one said a no. What waste!
My psychiatrist said that anxiety can lead to depression. I wish it would hurry up. Anxiety's way worse. It's like a sushi train, just different dishes every day. Sashimi betrayal, teriyaki brain cancer. Me so scared. And you're just up 3 a.m, texting all your friends, we cool, just... Depression's way better. You're in your pajamas, drinking custard out of the box in a Xanax haze. It's relaxing.
I have 4 younger than me friends who have said to me in the last several years that they were empaths. Not I'm empathetic, not I'm sympathetic, not I'm patient, tolerant, or kind, but I am an empath. Nope. I'm like Mantis from Guardians of the Galaxy, like Deanna Troi from Star Trek: The Next Generation, like a demon from Buffy. No, you are not an empath. You had a human experience. Someone was crying. You made eye contact. Someone looked up from their phone, and you were there. And my buddy, who I love dearly, said to me, no, it's more than that. It's like when someone else's dog dies, I feel it just as badly as they do. And I was like, wow, do you feel the hostility coming off of me? You getting that? Because the word you're looking for is narcissism, and you're killing me.
When we were kids, my dad lived in this super exclusive gated community called Prison. And I really don't want me to be like just a total brat, but my dad went to private prison. Yeah, he did. My dad went to private. So, where'd your dad go? Merrill Lynch? Cool. Like, I met this girl and she's like, I'm from Joliet, Illinois. And immediately I was like, Joliet, Illinois? Joliet State Prison. My dad went there. Like it's the University of Michigan. Like, yeah, my dad, like class of 86.
I'll just get this out of the way. I am aware of my accent as well. I don't need you guys just staring at me, being like, where's it come from? Because that happens every show I do. The first 5 minutes, they won't let me be a person with thoughts. It's just a guessing game. They're like, is it Texas? No. Mississippi? I'm like, don't be a dick. Don't be a dick. I just tell them, Tennessee. I'm from Tennessee. Every time I'm like, oh, you like a redneck? I'm like, absolutely not. It's highly offensive what you just said. Then they're like, you like a hillbilly? I relate. But if you meet an actual hillbilly, you have made a terrible mistake. You need to get off their property. They don't like that. That's like their only rule. Get! Oh, he said get with an I. Go. I get it. They also want to know, too, like, especially people that have never been to the South, fascinated, like, what's the South really like? What's it really like? I'm like, well, it's probably like 8 or 10 of the coolest cities, full of the coolest people, very just unique and just a meld of different human beings and cultures. It's amazing, and the rest of it is exactly what you've heard. But more intense than you can imagine. And then they're always like, well, what's the worst part of the South? I'm like, Alabama, before you finish that question. You guys know, all right. And they're always, every time though, they're always like, well, what about Mississippi? I'm like, that's not their fault. Historically, the worst education system in our country since the start. They don't know any better. In Alabama, they know better. They just don't give a shit. That got applause in Birmingham. It's not what I was going for. I was trying to shame them. And they're like, that's us. Yeah. Roll Tide. I know how the accent sounds. I'm aware. It sounds dumb. I get it. It's a scam. We're all running. People think we're way dumber than we actually are. It's the opposite of the British accent. Think about it. Yeah, they sound smart, but if you listen, you're like, oh, you're dumb as hell. I get it. There's certain words I shouldn't say. Makes people uncomfortable. Like, my wife is Jewish. Just saying that, people are like, hey, easy. Careful. I'm like, what? I married a Jew. People are like, I know you can't say that. Like, you can't say that. We just had a baby. I made a Jew. People are like, I gotta get out of here. He's trying to get people fired. Don't go over there. I did. I made a Jew, you guys. You can applaud. That's cool. It would have been weird if you kind of applauded and then didn't. You guys came through. I did. I didn't know growing up I could make a Jew. I didn't know. But I can, and I did. Pretty cool. What happened was my wife is Jewish, and her vagina, also Jewish. And the baby came out of there, Jew. It's science. And religion, I think. I don't understand. It's confusing. I don't ask a lot of questions. But he's got blonde hair and blue eyes. I Nazi-proof that son of a bitch. You can laugh out loud. That's a good thing I did. You guys can enjoy yourself here at the comedy show. Feel free. That joke 3 or 4 years ago was just historically funny, and then it got relevant again. I'm just saying, I did not see them making a comeback. I didn't. Fascinating. 3 or 4 years ago, people laughed and like, "That's funny." Now people laugh and like, "That's good you did that." I get this question a lot because I sound like I do and then I say the stuff I do. How'd you get that way? It's confusing. You sound, like you sound, but the stuff you say is not from where you're from. Like, I had to evaluate it, and it's like, I think it's because my parents are pretty cool people. Like, my dad's a football coach and teacher. Y'all know who I'm talking about. I called him before he retired like a couple years ago. I was like, "Hey man, what do you do during the day?" He's like, "You need to mind your own business is what you need to do." Yes, sir, coach. My mom's an English teacher and a maniac. That's what she does. Sure, her name is Storm. Yeah, that's weird, right? I was in my 20s before I was like, that is weird. Because when you're little, you're just like, I guess everyone's mom's named after an American gladiator. That's how it is. That's Steven's mom, Laser. I lived in Seattle for a while, and they came to visit my parents. And there's a WNBA team there named the Seattle Storm. And I was like, is there anything you guys want to do while you're here? Like anything special? And my mom was like, I want to go see that Seattle Storm play. And I was like, why? She's like, because their name's I Hate You So Much. Smart ass. I was like, professional smart ass. I had no interest in going in the game, and my dad was like, I like fundamental basketball. You gotta listen to him, he's kind of mean. So I got them tickets, they went to the game, they came back. My dad walked past me like nothing happened. I was like, hey mom, what's going on? How was the game? It was great, I think I might be homophobic. What happened at the game? She's like, well, they were great seats. Thank you so much. We're down close, and action started happening. We were having fun, and then there was like a timeout, and then there were a lot of lesbians there. I was like, you don't have to whisper that word. That's their preferred word. She said, okay. Well, there are a lot of, I can't not whisper it. I don't know why. I was like, okay, there are a lot of lesbians there, Mom, yeah. And she was like, yeah, and then when there's the timeout, they'd all start making out and like their tongues going everywhere. I was like, oh, I don't like this. I was like, huh. Well, if there had been a bunch of straight couples there making out during the timeout, would that have bothered you? Yes. Stop making me see your tongue in public. I don't like that. I'm like, oh, Mom, you don't like public displays of affection, PDA. You're not homophobic. And she was like, oh, thank God. It's in there. I didn't like it, but it was in there, you know? And that was the moment where I was like, oh, this is how I am the way I am. Because my neurotic mother, my whole life, has been like, have you worried about something that doesn't exist and can't happen yet? She go worry about that.
But we gotta knock it off. That's what I'm saying, and I'm glad there's a mixture of old people and young people coming to my shows now. I'm glad, because it gives us a chance to knock this on the head. Old people and young people, we've got to knock this off. We've got to stop fighting each other. This is crazy. We've got to get along. We all share the same space. And being old is not so different to being young, I swear. It's not so different. You just itch a lot more, don't you? Isn't it just itchy? It's like being young, except you're really itchy all the time. You're like, oh my God, nobody tells you. By the way, cortisone is the wonder cream. Just get it. It's amazing. You're like, I'm itchy. Oh. I think I just gave away where I get itchy. Probably cut that out. Anyway, but the old people, you know, if you're old, you just itch a little more. And if you're young, there's a byproduct of being young. It's not your fault. It's not your fault if you're young. There's just a side effect to being young, which is you're stupid. I know you think you're not, but you are. You're so stupid, you don't even know you're stupid. But the thing is, you know, oh God, I'm so itchy. But here's the thing, if you're older now, think back, older people, if you're older now, that means you were young in the 60s or 70s or 80s or 90s. What? No, Craig. Yeah, 90s as well. No, Craig, Hoopastank. No, Hoopastank. No, Craig, Hootie and the Blowfish. No, Hootie and the No Fish. They're all dead. They all died. They were all found floating at the top of the pool. They're fine. That's stupid. Anyway, look, here's the thing, though. I have to say, my Gen Z and millennial brothers and sisters, as much as I love you, I got some news for you. If you're in your 30s, early 30s, mid-30s, late 20s maybe, you're in that wheelhouse and probably starting to have kids of your own now. And those little tykes you left tied to the furniture in the double wide to be here tonight, I know. I know where I am. It's specifically for the reasonably priced seats up there. But here's what I'm thinking. Here's what I'm saying, though. Here's what I'm saying, my Gen Z millennial brothers and sisters. If you're a young parent right now, you got little kids, those little tykes, they're not going to stay little tykes forever. They're not going to stay adorable little tots forever. They're going to grow up. That's the way it works. They're going to grow up. And the pendulum's going to swing the other way. And they're going to rebel against your attitudes. They are coming. And they will make Caligula's Rome look like Mr. Rogers' neighborhood. They are coming! If I was a young parent right now, I'd start saving up for bail and rehab, because you're gonna need it. And to be honest, my millennial and Gen Z brothers and sisters, you kind of deserve it, you smug, self-righteous hats. Now wait. I know what you're thinking. Oh, come on, Craig, old comedian railing against young people. Well, I have to speak my truth, don't I? Speak your truth. What is your truth? Well, if you believe something to be true, that's your truth. So the truth is subjective. In a way, yes. I really wish I'd known that in a court case in Glasgow in 1987. Speak your truth. Do you know where I first heard that, actually, was from Harry and Meghan. Speak your truth. Don't get surly with me. They're your problem now. I like when one of them said, I can't remember which one it was, the one that complains the most. Oh. But one of them said, we have some news. I'm like, what? They said, someone in the royal family is a racist. I was like, yeah. It's nothing to do with them being royal. They're a family. If you don't know who the racist is in your family, it's because it's you. It's part of family life. You ever been to a wedding? Grandpa would like to say a few words. No, he will not say a few words.
I recently achieved the dream of every middle-class person. I had a bit of work done on the house. Had a new kitchen put in. I stress, we're not wealthy, but we came into some money on the death of an elderly relative, upon which I had bet heavily. Come on, Uncle Oscar, Daddy needs a kitchen island. So we got this work done, and I don't know if there are any men in the audience who are man enough to admit that when you meet a proper man, you go a bit funny, right? Like if you see walking down the street, if you see a guy who's like wearing overalls, he's got paint all over them, and you see him and you go, there goes a proper man, and you go a bit limp, you know, oh, he's proper. All it really means, of course, is that he's not that good at painting. And what happens, and I don't want to do this happens despite my best endeavours, I open the door to them and I do a bit of a voice, right? I don't know what it is. These guys turn up, I'm like, all right, let's wait. Like, where is that coming from? What is that? I'm going, all right, cup of tea, cheeky Stella, all right, lovely. I think on some level I'm trying to sort of leverage a friendship with them in order to create the possibility of the discount for cash. Don't know if anyone's ever pulled that off. All right, lads, cup of tea, discount for cash. What that is, I'll give you the cash, you knock the VAT off, everybody's laughing, apart from obviously the schools and the hospitals. Anyway, and they must know. They must know, right? When I turn up like this, they must go around the corner and go, he's rather patronising, isn't he? Yes, he is. He is condescending to us, talking down to us, isn't he? Yes, yes, he's trying rather hard. That's what she said, careful. And we tried to do the whole job in a week, right? They wanted to get it done in a week. So at one point, they were all in the living room. Now, our living room is underneath our kitchen with this little squeezy house on a hill. And all 5 of them were downstairs in the living room having a chat, right? So there was a Chippy, a Sparky. You've got another lingo. There was whatever the a plumber is. Cheeky Dolphin. I don't know. Splash Harry. And a Bender? That's unlikely, I think. And a Gaffer and a Spaffer, which is my word for a plasterer. I've made that up myself, you're welcome. Spaff, spaff, spaff. It's harder than it looks. So all 5 of them were in there, and I went in to offer them a coffee, right? And I panicked, because I didn't know how to address them together. And I walked in, and I went, all right, men. I don't know why I said that. I think I was going to go for lads, and then I bailed out halfway through the sentence. I said, men, as if I'm the brigadier at the back of the battlefield on a white horse. And I'm expecting you, obviously, to die tomorrow in your hundreds of thousands. But for now, can I offer you coffee? So they all said yes. So 2 minutes later, I'm standing upstairs in the kitchen, at the worktop, in front of a coffee pod machine I already feel bloody guilty about. And I've got 5 pods on the worktop in front of me, thinking, am I really going to chuck 5 pods at these bastards, right? What if they want another coffee later on? They're here all week. This is going to bankrupt me, right? I'm going to have to kill another relative. They're not the usual pods, is my point. They're from a special collection called simply Regime. And so I've got the 5, I scoot them up, I've got 5 pods in one hand, I've got a jar of dirty instant coffee in the other hand, and I'm looking from one to the other, trying to make my mind up. When I look up, and one of the builders is standing on a ladder looking in through the kitchen window. There is no other thought I could possibly have been contemplating. I ended up having to do a sort of extended improvised act out to my wife, who was not in the building, saying to her out loud, oh, all right, darling, what have you done? What are you doing getting this instant muck? Nothing but the best for my boys. Sorry, I'm sorry.
And now I don't do any of it. Now I don't do any of it anymore. I'm sober, married, monogamous. Took anger management classes, court-ordered, and so this is me now, and this is the only type of person my kids have ever known, because it's been a long time since I drank. And so it's tough, because when you have teenagers, you know that they get to a certain age, and they start to think that they're cool, and that you're not, which is a phenomenon, because you raised them. You've known them their whole lives, and you know they're not cool at all. And you know that you are, and yet you gotta listen to them like, oh, Dad, you're so out of it. Dad, you don't get it. Dad, you don't know how to download. It's like, hey, you don't know me, motherfucker. You don't know who I was. I used to be very cool. You know when I stopped being cool? When you two were born. Before that, very cool. Way cooler than you will ever be. You know why you won't be as cool as I was? Because you're not being raised by an abusive, alcoholic parent. That's why. And that can change. You're not cool. What are you, 14? When I was 14, I was high at dinner. Every night. Look at you. You're not even high. I was baked out of my mind, laughing. Look at you all clear-eyed, normal. I used to get in a fist fight every day after school. You wear a helmet to ride a bicycle.
Am I the only one who thought the words to La Bamba were ba-da-da-da, La Bamba? Talk about being rocked to your very foundation. I was at a bar, I was watching a football game. Turns out the other half of the bar is karaoke. Somebody decides to sing La Bamba. We all make decisions in life. I glance up at the screen to do a lyric check, more for Soy Capitan than anything, but I notice where I expect to see ba-da-da-da, which is what I've been singing my entire life, I see a Spanish phrase, para bailar. I immediately say, people, they've got the wrong words up here. We all know it's ba-da-da-da. But I was mistaken. It is, in fact, para bailar, which means, Spanish speakers, to dance. Yes, in order to dance. That's what I discovered. You know what ba-da-da-da means? Same thing. Much easier to pronounce. I was so upset. I felt betrayed because I know I've sung that in the presence of Spanish speakers. Nobody ever corrected me. I'm out there putting it all on the line like ba-da-da-da-la-bamba, ba-da-da-da-la-bamba. They're like, ba-da-da-da, what the hell is this guy singing? I don't think that means anything in any language.
Anyway, what I'm saying is we have to stop thinking like robots. I've thought of a way of saving Earth from robot thinking. I used to have friends, I've still got them actually, friends, good friends, and I didn't agree with them at all. I didn't even like them. They'll get guys that come around. My wife still says to me, why is this guy coming around for dinner? You hate this guy. I'm like, I know, but he's my friend. That's how it works. But now it's like, you know, you have to think like a robot. Agree with me or you're wrong. You think the way I think or you're cancelled. So we have to stop thinking like robots and we all have to think more like my Auntie Betty, who lives right here in this city. All right, she doesn't. I believe she does. No, my Auntie Betty is a very emotionally well person. She's a very emotionally developed, a very emotionally intelligent human being. If she disagrees with something you say, if she thinks you're talking shit, she doesn't try and cancel you. Here's how you know you're talking shit around my Auntie Betty. You say whatever crap you say, and then if she thinks you're talking crap, she'll do this. She'll say, oh, is that right? Well, show us what I know. Then you know you're talking shit. Now, I'm very fond of my Auntie Betty. I'm very close with her still. She's not that much older than me. She's about 16 years older than me. And when I was born, my mum was very sick. She's my mum's youngest sister, so she looked after me when I was a baby. You know, she looked after me when I was very young. It was the 1960s, and she was the first person, actually, that put the idea of a place called America in my head, because she loved American rock and roll, loved it. Her favorite was Little Richard. And I know, she used to sing Tutti Frutti to me as a lullaby. And I was like, Tutti Frutti, oh la Rutti. Go to sleep, you little bastard. Years later, when Little Richard was on my late night show, I was surprised he didn't have a Scottish accent. And he was surprised when I fell asleep during Tutti Frutti. That's stupid. That's stupid. You can't fall asleep during Tutti Frutti. Tutti Frutti, I'm awake. Anyway, about 18 months ago, I was talking to my Auntie Betty. I was in Scotland. I was talking to my Auntie Betty, and some offers were coming in to go on the road and start doing stand-up again around these great United States. She said, are you going out? Are you going out to do a stand-up tour? I said, you know what? I don't think I will, Auntie Betty. She was like, why, Craig, why? It's always been your dream to appear in this city. I said, she said, you love doing stand-up. Why wouldn't you go out? I said, to be honest, Auntie Betty, it's the young people. It's the young people. I feel like they're waiting on the balls of their feet, waiting to just for you to say something wrong, anything wrong, and then they're boom, and you're cancelled. That's it. It's over. You're done. And not only are you done now, anything you ever did is done. You're over. You never existed. They're terrible. And she said, oh, no, I don't see it that way at all with the young people. I said, what? She said, no, Craig, the young people today, I see it more like, do you remember that old David Bowie song in the 1970s when he sang, changes? And I was like, no, Auntie Betty, no, not changes. They're fascists, that's what they are. They're just after, they're little kind of, they're pitchforks and they're terrifying, they're nasty little Nazis. And then it went quiet and then she said it. Oh, is that right? Shows what I know. That's when I knew I was talking shit. So I had to rethink my whole worldview about the young people. I had to alter my entire Weltanschauung. You're welcome, one German academic. Finally, a joke for me. Oh, that's cool. I was hoping to maybe would be at least one German joke, and here we are. It's like, oh, it's stupid, stop it. German people don't walk like that. At the moment. Although I get a sense some people are stretching and getting ready, though. Anyway, the word Weltanschauung it's a German word. It means worldview. And I had to change my entire worldview about the young people. So I did. And here's what I think about the young people now. Here's the truth of it. You're right. It's your turn. It's not my turn. You're the youth. I'm old. I had my shot at it. If you guys want to take over and change the way the world works, how society works, how gender works, how music works, how politics works, how everything works, if you want to change it all, do it. You're right. It's your turn. I love you. I love you, my Gen Z and millennial brothers and sisters, and I support you. However, if I accidentally cross over a line that you guys drew 20 minutes ago, and it will be accidental because I'm listening, I wouldn't be just going, oh, sorry, didn't hear you, ah. If I accidentally cross over that line, or more likely I crossed over that line 20 years ago before you were born, then at that point, I also have to say, with all the love in the world, go f*** yourself. There. That, to me, seems fair.
I'll tell you a bit about myself to get us acquainted. I think of myself as a self-made man. That's my thing, right? By that I mean I left home at 18 with nothing but the shirt on my back and every conceivable privilege. Still got them. White, male, middle class, and if they invent any more, I dare say I shall have them too. Oh, that's good. I'm very lucky. I own a house. You can't... Thank you. Yeah, it's hard saying that to people in their 20s. You can watch their dreams die in real time. It's not fair. I say I own a house. My wife owns a house. I own a wife. So that's good. Lived in London, the sprawling metropolis that is London, for the last 15 years. And then 5 years ago, I moved to the hipster capital of Britain, Bristol, as the result of losing an argument about starting a family. I left the city I love to be with the woman I like. And she hates that joke, and she's absolutely right to. We now live in Bristol, up a hill, in a creative community full of wankers. It's not a gated community. It is quite a steep hill. And everyone, if you like that, you're going to enjoy the rest of the show. This is going to be fun. Let's relax. Everyone, when I say it's creative, it's like everyone on our street has an arty job, right? So we've got comedian, we've got a DJ, a videographer, a dancer, a musician, and one architect to give the rest of us a sense of perspective. Like, sure, you're artistic, but if you tried. And And I got to tell you, the area is gentrifying really nicely in a way that I am absolutely responsible for. When I first moved there, brunch on a Sunday was £8. Now it's £13.50. You're welcome. That's me. I did that. And if anything, it's too comfortable. It's a really comfortable place to live. So I'll give you an example. We take the children, local kids. We take them on, my own children. I've said local kids there as if we're some sort of Pied Piper couple. We're like, come children, let's go on a walk. No, not at all. We have two fabulous children, lovely, lovely little boy, and the girl one's good too. And we, I've known him longer. We go on walks and we go to the forest, right? The forest is technically a cemetery, but there's no point getting into that at this stage. And what we've noticed is such is the nature of our groovy, creative community that someone from the community has been sneaking into the forest and nailing lots of little 4-inch high doors to the bases of the tree trunks. Have you seen anything like this? Little fairy doors, right? You've seen them. So it's all twee and it's all sweet and the children come along and have an important cultural experience and go, oh, this must be where the fairies live. Not my son. My son's like, well, they're out, but there we are. And that's why they do it. But the problem is, we're such a bunch of wankers that all of the couples have gone home and go, have you seen it? Have you seen the forest? I can't whittle. I can't carve. How will we contribute? And so what they've done is everyone's gone back and added little embellishments. They've put little accoutrement in the... That's a fun word, isn't it? Accoutrement. They've put like a little rocking chair in the front garden. Someone's cut up a doormat into inch squares and put little fairy doormats for the fairies to wipe their little booties on. Someone's got a lolly stick and 2 bits of string and made a little swing on a nearby branch. It's twee as hell, and it's my duty to disrupt it. So what I've done is I went to a doll's house furniture shop and bought a load of white goods, like fridge freezers, microwave ovens, and I just left them outside in the fairies' front gardens to rust. Get a Scalextric car, set fire to it, leave it smoking on its edge outside. Bring the area into disrepute, some miniature police tape here, some tiny crack pipes there. And what I did last night, I snuck in, I put a tiny white tent in one of the front gardens. Yeah, so it looks like there's been a murder. Take my son through it earlier today. Yeah, I think the cat got him. Ooh, nasty. It's not true, of course. I haven't done that. What I've done is I've decided to take it far too far in the opposite direction. So what I've done is I got on Etsy.com and I bought a job lot of about 200 of these fairy doors. And night after night, I've been sneaking in, adding more and more fairy doors, right? More doors, everywhere you can look, every inch plastered with doors, up trees, up branches, doors, 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 until the area is completely oversubscribed, right? Doors everywhere. And so many doors, eventually the fairies, they're going to need somewhere to get their coffee, aren't they? So a little artisanal coffee shop there, maybe a vegan upholsterers over here. Doors, 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 doors. And then at the very end, what I'm going to do tomorrow is sneak in with an armful of tiny little estate agent signs, start sticking them everywhere, as all of the local fairies are priced out of the area by these fluttering iridescent wankers from London. That's the plan. That's the plan.
One day I learned a valuable lesson. Just shut up. It's good advice. If I ever meet newlyweds or engaged couples, I always tell the dude, bro, just shut up. You don't know how good this advice is, but it's advice I wish I'd gotten a long time before I had to figure it out on my own. I got terrible advice from my married friends at my reception. And I blame the open bar for that, looking back. I was engaged for 1.5 years. They never said a word. Then there was free Kettle One for 4 hours. Now I got 27 Dr. Phil's popping up every 5 seconds. And my one buddy, I knew it was going to happen. I told her a week out. I said, listen, he's probably going to get pretty drunk at our reception. And my only ask of you is if you see him talking to me or even walking my way, you pull me aside or I'll be stuck with him all night. She's like, don't worry about it. So sure enough, he's wasted. Okay? We all knew he's wasted. He's breakdancing by himself on the middle of the dance floor to the soundtrack from Aladdin during appetizers. We all knew. So he goes into his backspin on Friend Like Me, finishes. We lock eyes. He gets up. He starts stumbling my way. I try to find her. She's leaving the room. I was like, oh boy, here we go. And I've known this dude since we were 3 years old. I've never seen him this drunk. I was like, hey man, you having a good time? Are you serious? This is the best wedding I've ever been to. And let me tell you something. I was laying over there, and I was like, I've been married for a minute, You know, what kind of best friend would I be if I didn't give my boy advice about marriage on his wedding night? So listen, if I was just gonna give you just one really good pee. Sorry, sometimes I can feel her walking up behind me. It's just... Just pick your battles. That's what every one of my married friends told me. They said, pick your battles. They said it like it was a secret. Top level intel. I was finally allowed to hear it. Pulled me aside. They're like, dude, it's so easy. Just pick your battles. It's terrible advice. What does it mean on paper? It means if I only argue my side every once in a while, I get to win that time. No, you don't. You never get to win. There'll be times you think you've won. She might even say, fine, you win. You have no idea how bad you've lost at this point. I don't like the word battles. I don't think that's accurate. Very dramatic. 90% of the things you argue about when you first get married are so dumb. She came up to me one time, come here, you got a peeper. What? You have a peeper. What's a peeper? Josh, the white stuff in your eye when you wake up in the morning. Peeper? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. She's like, why? What do you call it? I was like, sleep? That doesn't make sense. Yeah, it does. That's what it's called. So it's at like one side, but it's both, Jennifer. You have a piece of sleep in your eye, or you have some sleep in your eyes. It's the same word, singular and plural, like deer or fish, right? So we're going back and forth, knowing neither one of us is using the medical term for whatever that stuff is when you wake up in the morning. But my idiot friends are in the back of my head going, dude, you're about to decide what that's called in this house for the rest of your life. You might want to see this one through to the end. So I was like, all right, battle pick, let's dance. This is it. This is the one. I picked this one. I would like to select this battle to be mine. You could have the next 10, 15. I don't know. I was not given a number. I would like to choose this battle. She had no idea what I was talking about. It should have been over right then and there, according to legend. Nope. 2 hours later, I say sleep. She says peepers. I'm like, I'm sick of arguing about this. Let's just call somebody else. We get her friend Heather on the phone. Well, I say crusties. Crusties? You kidding me? It's for your nose. You got a crusty or there's a bat in the cave. We're not even talking about this. So we call my friend Dave. I say eye boogers. I'm a grown man. I'm not going to call him eye boogers. Why didn't I just shut up? If I just shut up, I'd be sitting on the couch all by myself playing Call of Duty in a much better mood. What's that, peeper? Oh, I must have missed that this week. Whatever. But you know what we call it? Peepers. You're right. We call it peepers. So what was any of it for? I have no idea.
Good year for doctors to be on TV. Sanjay Gupta, oh my God, they put that guy to work. Especially early on in the pandemic, he'd be on CNN like, hi everyone, I'm Sanjay Gupta, I'm a neurosurgeon. And today I'm going to teach you how to sanitize a Nutri-Grain bar. I repeat, I'm a neurosurgeon. I do brain surgery. I could be doing brain surgery right now. In fact, someone isn't getting brain surgery. Because I'm standing here with a tub of Clorox wipes, about to teach you how to do something you don't actually need to do. But more on that in 8 months. Had to learn how to cook during the pandemic, went on TikTok for recipes. Every recipe on TikTok is speed-oriented. Like, do you want to make a 25-second breakfast? Start the clock. I started to embrace the idea of cooking, but then there's always that ingredient deal breaker. I'd be watching the chef on the screen, and I'm like, oh, come on, man. You think I have rice vinegar? You know I don't have rice vinegar. Look at me, you know I don't have it. 3 people in the world have rice vinegar. You and your 2 roommates. Realized how lazy I was about cooking. I'd read the directions on a microwave burrito. I'd be like, heat on high for 1 minute, then flip over. I didn't go to Le Cordon Bleu Culinary Academy. I'm gonna see if I can slam this out in 1 step. No basting. Glad we're eating out again. I've had some great exchanges with waiters and waitresses over the years. There's an actual exchange I had with a waiter at an Italian restaurant in New York City not too long ago. Hi, is it possible to get a decaf espresso? You're the worst. Okay. I don't mean to be all lawyerly, but that was a yes or no question. But if you want to go with you're the worst, that works fine. Anyway, give me a decaf espresso with a big spoon of ketchup in it. Now I'm really bad. I was in a diner in Oklahoma. I ordered a salad, and she goes, what kind of dressing? I said, Italian. She leaned in and whispered something to me, but I didn't understand her. I go, what's that? She goes like, it's not good. What's not good? The Italian dressing. It's not good. It's not good. What's not good about it? It's not that tangy. Maybe you and I have different standards for tangy. Which dressing should I get? I'd go with Thousand Island. I don't like Thousand Island. I'll have the Italian. Are you sure it's not good? What part of it's not good don't you understand? We'll end that one right there.
Yeah. I'm afraid of flying, which is good because I have to do it twice a week. I love that. I'm afraid of a whole bunch of stuff. But we got a big one, unconfident captain. You guys come across this guy yet? No? Guess not. Because every captain's like, all right, folks, I'm going to go up and take this plane, and then I'm going to bring you home, and it's going to be all good, you know? I had a captain last week that was like, hi, hey, everybody, we're going to try to get you to Minneapolis. I was like, try? You're not sure about this? He said, we're going to try to make up. We took off late. He goes, we're going to try to make up for lost time. I was like, what are you going to call your daughter? And couple people, too dark for you, sir. I forgot this show brought out New York's very minute Mormon community. They've all come out, and any kind of familial damage is not accepted or funny. This couple right here, they're grabbing their Book of Mormons, clenching them. When will Joseph Smith come down and smite this man? It's okay. I'm sober. That's something I am. I'm sober. But I'm such a nervous flyer. I get to take Klonopin when I fly, which is good. It helps. But I have started commuting via airplane. Like if I need to go to New Jersey, I drive to JFK. I fly to Boston, back to Newark. That's 2 Klonopin I get to take. No, I'm kidding. I don't do anything. I don't do any drugs. I think drugs are bad now. I do. I don't like drugs. I think they're bad. Here's why I think drugs are bad. They make you feel great. And you shouldn't feel great. You should feel great sometimes, like a special occasion, but not like all the time. That's dumb. Do you know how many times people felt great like a couple of generations ago? Like one time. They'd hide in a barrel on a steamship, and then they'd pop their head up and see the Statue of Liberty, and they'd be like, I feel great. And that was the only time. They went and worked in a mill until they died. And as they were dying, they said, but remember the one time we felt great, that was good. And now you can, on a Thursday morning, smoke a joint in Jets pajama pants and go and buy off-brand cereal and feel just as good as that man when he popped his head out of that barrel and saw Lady Liberty. All right, I'm realizing that you guys really are part of New York's burgeoning young life scene. I'm getting this talk of all this heresy has really driven the laughs out. If you guys, after the show, want to come and lay hands on me, I understand. I've wronged some of you. I feel bad about that.
Farm guy. I'm a suburb guy. I'm a suburb guy. And, you know, I think a lot of people say the suburbs is like a soft life. Like it's easy. It's not. It's tough. There's a lot of tough stuff. I had a problem at the Red Lobster the other day. It was serious. I mean, here's what happened. My waitress thought that I was poor. I'm not, okay? I'm not rich. I'm not gonna stand up here and brag to you guys about how much money I make, but let's just say I can walk into a Red Lobster and get whatever, okay? Like, I'm making that kind of cash. Like, I'm pulling that down. I'm not saying every day, but I'm saying 2-3 times a month I can walk in there, and I'm not looking at the prices, okay? And not just during Lobster Fest. I'm saying on a regular Tuesday, I'm doing fine. And I was wearing like my third best shirt. This is 6. I didn't look poor. Here's what happened. I go, I'll take the trout, and I want some asparagus. She goes, oh, sir, asparagus is a premium side. I was like, what does that mean? It's real good? She goes, no, it's extra. I was like, how much? She goes, $1.29. I was like, I can swing it. I mean, I'm gonna have to call my guy. You know, we're gonna have to move some stuff around. Probably put off retirement for a couple years, but I want the asparagus. Matter of fact, I want 3 asparaguses, or three asparagus. What I'm trying to say is I can spare a guy, okay? I got plenty of guys. I'm gonna keep the girls, but you know. I don't like it when they tell you how many sides you can have at the restaurant. I went to this place, I go, I'll take the salmon, I want a baked potato, and I want a sir, you only get 1 side. I get however many sides I say I get. I'm a grown man, all right? I decide the sides. I'm the side decider. I'll make it rain sides up in here. I want all the sides. I want them all twice, okay? I want a baked potato twice. And I'm not talking about a twice baked potato. I want 2 baked potatoes side by side. I want a roast beef sandwich. Sir, that's not a side. Well, then you put it on the side. I call the shots. Yeah. I want rice pilaf. And between me and you guys, I have no idea what rice pilaf is. I went to 5 different restaurants and I ordered rice pilaf, and it was completely different at every restaurant. These pilaf farmers need to standardize their product. I'll tell you that right now. Like, I Googled it. Very loose definition. From what I can tell, rice pilaf is rice with anything else you want to put in it. Anything. You know, sometimes you drop your phone in the toilet and you got to put it in rice to dry it out. Technically, that's rice pilaf, okay? That's a Palafian dish. I was in Iowa and I was doing a show, and there was a bunch of farmers in the crowd, and I don't know anything about farming. So I asked this guy, I go, what do you farm? He goes, beans? And I said, like green beans? And they all started laughing at me like I was the dumbest person they'd ever met. He thinks we go green beans in Iowa. Oh, that's a good one there, green bean. Green beans in Iowa, don't that beat all? This fella is a comedian, I'll tell you. It was soybeans, all right, it was soybeans. I didn't know. By the way, green beans, that's not that ridiculous of an answer. That's a real food. I've eaten them before. I didn't say jelly beans, okay? I said a legitimate vegetable. I don't know what the plants look like. I mean, I know corn. Like I know corn. Like I could pick corn out of a lineup, but past that, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I get confused. I'm like, is that a potato tree? I can't tell. I'm not sure. Like, you should be nice to people when they don't know something. That's how I was brought up. You know, I live in the suburbs of St. Louis. I hope one of those farm guys comes to the suburbs sometime. Maybe I won't be so nice to him. I'll take him and do like some, suburb stuff or whatever. I'll take him to the Texas Roadhouse. He won't know what to do there. Where's the bowl for the peanut shells? You throw them on the floor, dummy. Ah, ha, ha. You don't know what to do in the suburbs, you stupid bean picker. I'll take him to Starbucks. I'll take a large coffee. It's called venti here. Venti, dirt digger. Don't be ordering beans either. They got beans here, but they're coffee beans. Arabica, Robusta, no soy. Then the barista will be like, well, technically, we have soybeans in soy lattes. And I'll be like, you shut your mouth, hippie. All right, you don't take sides against your own kind. We're on the same team. So I told that story later, and this lady came up to me after the show. She goes, hey, I'm a farmer. She goes, don't feel bad about the beans. She goes, I met this guy the other day. He didn't know the difference between field corn and sweet corn. Ha 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 ha. What a dummy. Yeah, you know how earlier when I said I know corn? I don't. They're like, there's two different kinds. I'm like, yeah, on the cob and not on the cob. They're like, no, it's field and sweet. I'm like, oh, sweet. You're talking about kettle corn. I've had it. Yeah. So if you don't know the difference between field corn and sweet corn, field corn, that's what they grind up and they feed to the animals. And sweet corn, that's what we eat. And once they explain it, it's very easy to remember because field corn is grown in a field, whereas sweet corn is grown in a field. So you can see these farmers make it real easy to understand their stuff. When I was in Iowa, I went to the restaurant, and on the front page of the menu, it said, we make our own ketchups. They were bragging about their homemade ketchup. Honestly, I'm not sure that I knew ketchup was made. I think I thought that was an element. I thought that was K on the periodic table. It turns out that's potassium, which makes no sense at all. There's not even a K in that word. What, now you're gonna tell me RN is not for ranch dressing? Why don't you take a science class? I tried one of their homemade ketchups. It was not good. Now, granted, I think it was field ketchup, but